Tanisha, a young princess born without magic, lost her mother and was left in the hands of a cruel father who despises her and seeks her death. Yet, she holds a power far greater than any spell, the ability to see her tragic fate at the hands of her tyrant father. But will she find a way to escape this dark destiny, or is her future already sealed? Our story begins on a stormy night with the birth of the little princess, whom her mother named Athanasia, meaning immortality. The little girl was born without any magical power, but when her mother kissed her, a magic circle appeared on her forehead. The mother then wept and passed away. The servants quickly gathered because of an order from His Majesty the Emperor to gather all the possessions of his wife Diana in the palace and burn them without a trace. He commanded them never to mention his newborn daughter's name in front of him, as he had never loved his wife. Several days pass. We see the servants in the palace with the young princess Athanasia, but they don't care for her much. The hungry little princess falls asleep and enters a magical dream world filled with magic circles. She approaches a magic crystal with a book inside. When she draws close and bites the crystal, it breaks, and the magic book emerges. As she opens it, Athanasia hears her mother's voice telling her, "Take care of yourself, this is your future." She then sees a glimpse of her future as a young princess, standing in the palace before her father and everyone, being put on trial for violating the decree, and using a black magician to plot her father, the emperor's, assassination. Athanasia cries intensely, telling her father it didn't happen, and that they are mistaken, as all she ever wanted was his love. She begs him to save her. Her father, the emperor, tells her that she is not his daughter and that he has never loved her, then leaves, ordering them to imprison her forever. We return to reality. Athanasia wakes up, crying hysterically, and thinks to herself, "This cannot be my future." The maid, Lillian York, immediately rushes in, holds her, and tries to calm her down. Princess Athanasia thinks to herself that Lillian is the only one who comforts her. She is a count's daughter and her mother's friend, who gave up her life in a noble family to come to the palace as a maid to care for Athanasia. Without her, Athanasia would have been left to starve. She says to herself, "I'm just an infant princess, yet I know my future. Will anyone believe me?" All she knows now is that this is a world of magic, and every noble can use it. According to the legend, there is a tower that is the source of all magic, where a great magician resides, of whom it's said that it would be easy for him to erase the empire. However, the one with even more amazing magical powers is the emperor, her father. But Athanasia sees him as an unjust emperor, who banished and imprisoned her for a crime she didn't commit in her future dream. Athanasia tries to sleep again, but wakes up crying, seeing the same nightmare, and determined that this will never be her future. 3 years pass. We see the servants cleaning the palace. A new maid talks to an older one, saying she didn't expect the Ruby Palace to be so lively, as she'd heard the atmosphere there was always gloomy. She mentions she came to the palace to care for the princess, whom she heard was very lovely, and is eager to meet her. We see Princess Athanasia in her room, surrounded by many books. She looks out the window and asks the servants where they are going. A maid tells her that the flowers have bloomed beautifully, so they are going to tend to them. The princess gets excited and goes with them to help. She puts on working clothes and helps them with the decorations. While walking through the palace, she sees the new maid standing by one of the palace room doors, seemingly searching for something. Athanasia approaches and asks her what she's doing. The maid, nervously, says she is new and got lost. She looks at Athanasia and mistakes her for the gardener's daughter, not knowing she is Princess Athanasia. Athanasia asks her where she wants to go. The maid says she wants to go to a place full of shiny gold. Athanasia suggests the place with the golden wheat, golden bread, or sunflowers. The maid gets angry and tells her she means shiny precious things. Athanasia informs her that valuable things are kept where people cannot see them and asks the maid to follow her. They arrive at the kitchen and stand outside. The maid asks Athanasia, "Are you mocking me, little girl? Does it make sense to keep valuables in the kitchen?" Athanasia explains that the Ruby Palace has been abandoned for years, so even if there were valuable items, they would have been taken out a long time ago. The maid then asks about the emperor. Athanasia tells her that His Majesty is too busy to care about them. They see the maid Hannah come out with a tray of sweets. When the new maid sees it, her eyes light up because the tray is decorated with real, genuine gemstones. She asks how Athanasia can get into the kitchen. Athanasia tells her to wait a moment, then goes to maid Hannah and asks for a few sweets. Maid Hannah agrees. Just as she is about to give her the sweets, Maid Says approaches and tells Hannah that it is not permissible to give Princess Athanasia things without permission. Athanasia approaches Shays and pleads with her. Maid Says is softened by her cuteness and gives her the entire tray of sweets, telling her not to tell Maid Lillian. Athanasia takes the sweets and goes with the new maid to the kitchen. When the maid sees the golden plates and spoons, her eyes gleam, and she tries to steal them. She gathers many golden objects and even removes the gemstones from the serving dishes, filling her bag. However, Princess Athanasia notices this, takes the stolen items from her, and tells her that it all belongs to her. The maid takes a knife and approaches Athanasia, chasing her. The princess quickly tries to escape, then unties a rope of a chandelier, causing it to fall on the thief maid. Many servants rush towards the kitchen to check on the little princess. The guards take the thief away, and they leave. At night, Maid Lillian is brushing the little princess's hair and tells her she was very worried about her today because of the thief maid. The princess tells her she is fine, gives her a flower, and thanks her. In the middle of the night, Maid Lillian, when it's bedtime, the princess sleeps in her bed and Maid Lillian leaves the room. The princess speaks to herself, saying, "I'm glad you're safe, Lillian. That's thanks to the prophetic dream I had. If I hadn't done that today, Lillian would have caught the maid and the thief would have stabbed her in the stomach, and Lillian would have died." She continues, "My name is Athanasia, the magical princess who cannot use magic. But I have a secret. I can see my own future. As for my father, he never loved me, and I believe that this terrible dream is likely my destiny. But I do not intend to simply accept it. The scene shifts to His Majesty the Emperor's palace. A guard enters his room with a correspondence, informing him that, according to the knight's reports, a thief entered the Ruby Palace and attacked the little princess, but she managed to handle the matter herself and the thief was captured. The Emperor gets angry and tells the guard he doesn't want to hear those details. The scene then moves to a strange man who wakes up and says, "Who is this who dares to deny the destiny of the Obelian Empire?" He then looks towards the palace. The scene shifts to the servants, perhaps at the royal palace, while Anastasia observes the events from afar. Due to the incident with the thief, the number of people in the kitchen has increased. It will now be very difficult to enter. She says to herself, "I won't let anything like this make me lose my real hope of collecting money." She loves gold or shiny things a lot. She had taken many golden dolls. At that moment, she enters and speaks to the servants, saying, "Good evening. I would like to eat some chocolate, please." All the girls are astonished and very happy that she is asking for something. Indeed, in just a few moments, they prepare the chocolate for her. Everyone was happy with her presence, as she is a beautiful and pleasant girl. The scene moves to Anastasia as she is eating the sweet treat next to the fountain and talking to herself about her dream boy, speculating she might meet him when she turns 19, or perhaps even sooner. "My luck will be wonderful, I think," she concludes. Then she remembers Layla and says, "I will take Layla with me. I will never leave her." At that moment, the chocolate drips onto her and stains her clothes, so she decides to wash herself in the fountain. Layla waits the sunrise and heads out to visit her new house in the cove. The water is hot and deadly, so she decides to wash herself in the... Unfortunately, she nearly falls. She looks at her reflection in the water and remembers people's words when they told her that she looks very much like her mother, while her eyes resemble her father's. However, in terms of magical powers, she unfortunately possesses none. Regarding her eyes, they are very distinctive, but Anastasia says that in reality, there is another girl named Jeanette who possesses the same eyes. Then she says, "This doesn't mean anything to me. I must escape as soon as I gather the money. When I collect the money, I will immediately run away." She had a pouch of dinars, coins, with her, and she decided to hide it in the forest because the front security at the palace is very strict. She kept walking until she reached a certain place and wondered, "It's not the Ruby Palace, so what is this place?" She approached it more closely and entered, finding it completely empty. She remembers hearing some maids say that they were going to reinforce the security well and specifically search the princess's room. Therefore, she quickly ran under her bed, took her money, and went with it to the forest to hide it. However, after a few days, she returns once more to retrieve it. She searches for it left and right. At that moment, she finds that a squirrel has dug it out. She calls out, "Wait, little squirrel!" But it doesn't heed her and runs away quickly. Here, she decides to look for a peanut to offer it so it will leave her jewelry and eat the peanut instead. The plan was successful. This means that there is now no safe place in the forest. She thinks and says, "I must find a safer place." Then she remembers that rented place and goes to it directly. She walks through its halls and finds no one. How can this towering place be shelterless and unknown to anyone, she wonders. Not only that, but she kept walking until she reached the main square, where she finds statues, perhaps made of pure gold. But here, the great surprise happens. She turns around and finds two large people who say, "Since when was this small insect in our palace?" But one of the people deduces that her eyes are exactly the same as his own. She says to him, "Father," but we don't know now if he is her father or not. She then asks, "What exactly is the story? Is this my father? Is this the Demon King's palace? Did I come to the wrong place? Where exactly can I get out of here? I want to escape quickly." The man tries to remember and eventually recalls a girl who is indeed riding a horse. He remembers her and says, "You are Anastasia." Then he recalls what happened at that time when the servants were sitting and said she was a good girl named Anastasia, which is what her mother named her. He says to her, "You have grown up a lot." Then he holds her cheeks and pinches them a few times. Then he tells his servant, "Bring tea immediately." She tries to run away because she doesn't want to drink tea with him, but he catches her quickly. Then her jewels fall onto the floor. After that, they enter the palace, and the sitting arrangement was very awkward. Anastasia says, "What a boring session. Does he want me to speak or say something? How long will I just sit here?" He speaks to her and says, "Are you always silent? Can't you speak? Come on, speak, Annie. I won't do anything to you." Finally, she speaks, and he hears her voice after a session of silence. He brings her cake and food, but she was very shy. His servant enters again, but he tells him to go outside. Then he talks to her about himself, revealing that he is the emperor who once caused chaos in that land, burned much, and misled people. But he is now no longer as he was before. He tells her, "Come on, drink the tea and eat the food, Annie." She was nervous and said, "What should I call him? What should I say to him? Should I call him father?" Then she decides to address him by that name. Claude looked at her but did not answer, causing Anastasia to become tense because she had addressed him specifically as father. She feared he would immediately banish her, thinking she should have just called him Your Majesty the Emperor like anyone else. The scene then shifts to the chief maid, Lillian, talking with the other girls, telling them they must fan out to search for the princess. Suddenly, the princess appears before them, running and crying. The chief maid embraces her and asks where she had been, as she was extremely worried. The royal guard then speaks to Lillian, explaining that the emperor had informed him that he would be summoning his daughter again. Anastasia cries, hating the idea and not wanting to see him again. He had been so cruel before and she didn't know what he was trying to do. He had decided that he would personally supervise the princess from now on. but she resolved not to let him tempt her with sweets. Anastasia then goes with the chief maid, Lillian, to see her father, the Emperor. The Emperor welcomes her and tells her it's been a long time since they last met. She replies that he is right. She had the honor of meeting him last time 5 years ago. The Emperor is surprised that she remembers that. Before he can finish speaking, Anastasia feels so nervous she wants to throw up. Her father is the Emperor of the Obalian Empire, and everyone calls him a great man. But she knows he is cruel and greatly merciful, sarcastically. The Emperor then speaks, saying that he was unable to care for her due to being busy with government affairs, and he entrusts her health and vitality to Lillian. Anastasia understands that he is lying. It's not that he couldn't care for her. If he had wanted to, her life would have been enjoyable. She just wants him to continue leaving her alone and let her return immediately. The Emperor continues, informing Lillian that he heard everything about the incident at the Ruby Palace. From now on, he will personally oversee the princess, and she will receive treatment appropriate for a princess. We move to the maid staff, where Hannah tells her friend says that she never imagined the king would come to the Ruby Palace, and they are now certain that the princess's life will be filled with happiness. We then see the Emperor sitting with the princess at a garden table for breakfast. The princess is still nervous and thinks to herself that she was supposed to avoid her father and live quietly, as her future disaster is caused by meeting him. As long as she never meets him, she can change her future. Yet this is extremely frustrating. The maids place many sweets on the table. The princess is amazed and thinks this is indeed appropriate princess treatment. She thinks to herself that her father was very cold to her before, and she doesn't know what he is trying to do with her. Could it be poisoned? She resolves not to let this cake tempt her. The Emperor asks her why she hasn't eaten, saying he feels she suspects the sweets are poisoned. The princess is shocked that he might be able to read her thoughts. She tells him she likes cake, but Lillian warned her not to eat too many sweets or her teeth would rot. The Emperor is surprised since she ate some yesterday. However, she can't hold back any longer. She takes a bite of the cake and finds it incredibly delicious. Nothing has ever tasted this good. She can't believe she dropped her guard because of a small cake like this. She then decides to eat the whole cake, as it would be wasteful to leave any piece of it. At that moment, the servants and the Emperor's guard watch her from afar. Relieved that she seems to be relaxing a little, the Emperor asks his daughter to join him for a tea session every day. And so, the life of Athie, Anastasia, began, where she saw her father every day, even though she didn't know why he suddenly started playing the role of a happy family with her. This made her very tense. But every now and then, something nice would happen. The princess always tries to perfect things, but this only increases her tension. She tries to learn many things for her father, and every time she makes a mistake, she believes it's over for her. But for some reason, it seems her father has no intention of criticizing her. Perhaps he regrets what happened and is trying to be kind to her. And she believes she is not as afraid of her father as she was before. Anastasia sleeps, and in the morning she gets ready to go for a stroll in the imperial grounds, as she heard there were flowers by the lake. She goes out to her father happily, strolling in the garden and picking many flowers. She runs and plays in the garden with joy. Her father reaches her and tells her he will show her the way and take her in a boat. Lillian informs him that the princess is uncomfortable with water, but the princess reassures Lillian and asks her not to worry, saying she must do what her father asks of her. The Emperor says he will stay with her, so why is she worried? Or does she hate the idea? The princess replies that she didn't mean that at all. She wants to go with him anywhere. Indeed, the princess gets into the boat with her father alone. The princess is very scared when they are by themselves. He stares at her all the time, and she doesn't know what she should say. She is so tense that she can barely breathe. The Emperor asks what she is thinking. She becomes more nervous and tells him that the weather is beautiful, the lake is beautiful, and then tells him his hair is very bright and beautiful, admitting that his hair is indeed beautiful. Every time she sees something golden, she thinks of pure gold. The Emperor understands that she loves shiny things very much and tells her that she has her jewels and the day will come for her to take them. The princess says that time is passing slowly and the wind carries the scent of flowers, which is a very pleasant feeling. Thinking about it now, she doesn't know how they are moving. They aren't rowing anything, yet the boat is moving. She believes this might be because of her father's magic. She looks at his clear blue eyes, like a blue sapphire. She wonders to herself if her father would have loved her if she could use magic. Then the princess sees a blue lotus flower and is captivated by its beauty and sweet fragrance. We see Athie, Anastasia, greatly captivated by the look of the flowers. She wants to touch and take the blue lotus, but she falls into the water. Something strong grips her leg. She calls for her father's help, but he does nothing for her. She then remembers what she dreamt, that because she broke the rules and used dark magic, she would spend the rest of her life in prison. She says, "This was supposed to be my fate always. Despite that, I held on to a little hope. I wished that he would accept me as his daughter." Finally, her father comes and saves her. Afterward, Athie wakes up with Lillian, Lily, by her side to check on her. When Athie realizes her father was the one who saved her, he uses his magic to dry her off. She is very happy that her father is doing all this for her. The Emperor then asks Felix to teach her to swim tomorrow, adding, "It won't be a long story if my daughter drowns." They return to the Ruby Palace and Athie is overwhelmed by the shock and a cold that has left her bedridden, but she keeps thinking about what happened that day. Lillian tells her that the flower is the dream lotus, which creates an illusion to lure living creatures. Its sole purpose is decoration. As long as there aren't many of them, they aren't dangerous. However, if you don't possess magical powers, you will be attracted by its allure. Athie tells her the problem is that she is very weak, but she doesn't want to drink any more of the medicine because it's too bitter. Lillian tells her she must take it, or she won't recover. At night, we see Athie's father by the lake, and then the girl appears, saying to him, "You came to see me?" He tells her that emotions like this were forgotten long ago, but it seems he doesn't hate that girl. Many hands surround Athi's father. We then see Felix very angry and wanting to help the king, saying, "May a shining light illuminate your path someday." Athi's father dismisses him. Afterward, we see Chess rush into Athi's room, saying that many maids have arrived to serve her. Athi is astonished when she sees them. Then Felix arrives, telling her, "I have been assigned to be your guard knight. I look forward to serving you." This concludes today's episode of this anime. Wait for us in the upcoming episodes. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive all that is new. So this episode kicks off with Princess Athanasia dreaming. She's dozing off to this gorgeous voice, right? She opens her eyes and she's in this flower-filled garden. She spots her mom way off in the distance. She totally looks like a fairy from a storybook. Athanasia reaches out and calls to her, trying to give her a hug, but then bam, she wakes up crying her eyes out because she misses her mom so much. Felix shows up and scoops her up. She notices he's super early today. He tells her, "His Majesty suggested you guys eat breakfast together. He wants to see you." Athanasia is like, "Yeah, right, my dad would never say that." She looks around and there are 0 knights today, which freaks her out. Felix tells her, "We don't need him today. I'm here. I protect everyone, including your dad, and magic keeps this whole place safe." Felix sets her down and suggests she go wake up the Emperor because he'd be totally thrilled. He closes the door on her. She tries to get out, but nope. Felix has locked her in. She has no choice. She goes in and calls for her dad, getting distracted by this super shiny, golden map. She keeps calling for her dad, but no answer, until she finds him crashed out on a couch instead of his bed. She's confused, like why? She looks at him, then at a portrait of him, and realizes he looks totally different from the guy in her dreams. That guy is pure evil. She tries to wake him, touching his cheek, but he doesn't budge. She tries again, then gets mad and says, "How dare you do all that stuff to me in my dreams?" and starts yanking his ear and cheek to wake him up. Athanasia just keeps messing with her dad's face until his eyes pop open. She then sings to try and put him back to sleep. When Claude finally wakes up, he has breakfast with his daughter. Athanasia tells him, "There's so much stuff in your palace I've never seen, it's super fun." Her dad replies that she should just explore and do whatever she wants in the palace. At that moment, Felix chimes in, informing Claude that Duke Alpheus will arrive any second and actually wants the princess present. Claude orders him to take the Duke to the meeting room, then asks his daughter to come here every day for breakfast before leaving. Athanasia gets stressed about having to come every day, but then she thinks about how her dad said she could explore the palace freely, so she gets up to wander around. When she goes into her dad's room, she sees tons of paintings of the Obelian imperial family. She needs to find her mom's picture because she's positive it has to be somewhere. She really wants to see her face. As she's walking around, she sees her dad's portrait, which confirms her mom's must be there too. She keeps looking until she finds it. Next, we switch to the palace ladies gossiping about the little princess and how Felix is in charge of her. They're wondering how they'll see an empress grow up who can't even use magic. The emperor is so chill that he doesn't even stress about stuff like this. Even a dancer could become a concubine. Suddenly, the emperor pops up right in front of them and orders them never to say that name again. Then we see the little princess in her carriage heading home, holding her mom's portrait. As she really looks at it, she remembers the fire that damaged it. She gets really sad about what happened, then thinks about her parents. She never realized her dad hated her mom this much. After that, she goes to sleep. The next morning, she goes to the servants and tells them she's eating breakfast with her dad. They show her the way. She sits down at the table, completely pumped to see her dad. Claude acts super cold, pretending he hasn't seen her. But she doesn't care because she does most of the talking anyway when they're together. She feels like her dad is bored when she talks, but she ignores that too. All she has to do is not bring up her mom. At that point, Claude asks her what she's thinking about. She asks him about his favorite tea. It smells amazing and she wants to try it. Felix immediately jumps in and tells her that the flavor would be way too strong for her. Athanasia gets sad, but Claude agrees to let her drink it, since there's no reason not to. When Felix puts the cup down, she takes a sip and finds it totally delicious, like flowers blooming in her mouth. Everyone gives her a weird look. Athanasia gets nervous, wondering if she said something she shouldn't have. Felix breaks the silence and tells her it's rice tea, and her dad drinks it a lot because he loves it. It's a type of black tea from her mother Diana's homeland. Felix tells Ati again that it's rice tea, which His Majesty drinks a lot, a kind of black tea from Diana's home. Ati had said the same exact thing Diana did when she tasted it. Then the Emperor says, "I don't recall anything like that," and tells Felix, "You're running your mouth too much today, leave us alone." We see Ati is bummed because her dad clearly doesn't want to talk to her about her mom. The Emperor then tells Ati, "You're too young for tea, drink milk instead," and leaves her. Ati gets upset and thinks to herself that he hates her so much and that even in the future, he won't need her. Ati cries and burns all her pictures and drawings. The next day, Ati is sitting alone at the table. The maid apologizes that the Emperor isn't there because he has other business and official duties, so she should start eating first. Ati waits for her dad all the time. Felix shows up in the evening, and as he arrives, she leaves. She then hears the maid talking to Felix. Lately, her appetite has been terrible. She won't even eat sweets. The Emperor's behavior the other day must have shocked her. When Diana was mentioned, his mood totally changed. He doesn't want to talk about her. But I'm sure the princess wants to know about her mom. Felix replies, "But the Emperor's whole mental state was messed up 5 years ago. There are no remaining statues or portraits that show what Diana looked like." Ati stands far away, listening to them talk about her mom. The maid says she wanted to see her mom. Felix interrupts her, saying, "The Emperor can use transfer memory magic. Let's try it. He'll agree for the princess, I'm sure of it." Ati screams at them, "Don't do it! Don't say anything to him! If you talk to him about Diana, he'll hate me even more." She cries and cries, and the maid calms her down. Felix tells her, "The Emperor doesn't hate you or Diana. If you don't believe me, come with me to the Sapphire Palace. Remember when I told you why His Majesty doesn't have a knight assigned to him? The real reason is that he casts protective magic to ensure his safety. Anyone who tries to enter without permission gets blocked. That's why the Sapphire Palace doesn't need guards, and no one tries to get close. This is the extent of his protective magic. Watch from far away." Felix demonstrates that the barrier won't let anyone hostile get in. He concludes, "The Emperor trusts you and Diana. There's no way he hates you." After that, Claude uses his power to restore the images to how they were. He talks to himself, saying, "I was able to forget." But he looks at the pictures, and Athanasia walks in. She tells him, "Actually, Atty hasn't seen you for 2 days, so Felix said that if Atty came to see you, you'd actually see Mommy's Atty, but if you were busy, Atty would just leave." As she's walking out, her dad, Claude, grabs her and asks, "Didn't you rest up?" She's confused by his move and wonders, what is he doing? Why did he suddenly pick me up? Then he takes her to the bedroom, lies down on the bed, and tells her to sleep. She tells him she's not sleepy. He asks her to sing that song, the one that drives away his nightmares. Athanasia wonders to herself, does he mean the song from that time when he was pretending to be asleep? She tells him she forgot it. He asks what would help her remember. She tells him, "Just give up, Papa, I really forgot." He tells her that disobeying an imperial order is a serious crime. She thinks to herself, is that a threat? She answers him, "Okay, maybe I do remember. I'll sing for you now." She starts singing, and her dad, Claude, uses his power to make some stars appear. Athanasia falls asleep next to him. He says to himself, "What a sassy girl. She's just like her mother." Athanasia dreams of her mother and father in the garden and thinks, "I didn't know Papa smiled like that." It's like her mom is saying, "This is true happiness." And that's how the episode ends. If you liked the video, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you get all our new stuff. Hello girls, hello boys, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are all ready with the summary of chapter number 5 of A Charming Princess. Our little princess Athanasia has grown a little more. She has new problems to face, especially the fact that she doesn't have magic. Although her father loves her more and more, so there's no drama on that side. Of course, she's doing some things with magic books that could get her into a lot of trouble. After that, this guy who was investigating the whole time shift thing has already shown up. But anyway, tell us what you thought of this chapter number 5. Please leave your likes, comments, and you can also subscribe to support the channel. The scene shifts to Cloud having to get up after that sweet nap together because Felix says there's someone looking for him, and it seems Cloud has an idea of who it is. And Athanasia wakes up too, from another perspective. We go to the Emperor's throne and see that the person who needed to talk to Cloud is called Alpheus, who asks him that since the princess is already old, she should find a playmate, or someone to help her study. And of course, he suggests his son, Ezekiel, who is 3 years older than Princess Athanasia, and who could help him with the whole issue of raising her. Obviously, this Alpheus wants to be close to the Emperor, to power. After that, we see that Athanasia arrives at the throne and knows that this guy doesn't have very good intentions, that he simply wants to get closer to Cloud. Since he was the one who presented that day when Athanasia was exiled, he presented this girl named Jeanette Margarita, whom he baptized the true princess of the kingdom of Obelia. Just like that, she approaches her father, sits on his lap to say that she doesn't need any kind of friend or help to study, that she has learned a lot, and yes, the truth is that she is a pretty smart girl, Athanasia, and it is clear that she doesn't need anyone else. But the ugly one doesn't shut up and asks her if she is also doing very well in the subject of magic, because he knows that obviously the princess can't use it. So that was a low blow. After that, Cloud gave in and told her that for now his daughter didn't need anyone. But this thing about magic is true. Athanasia may know a lot about the world, its laws, Obelia, but she has no magic, and sooner or later she believes that someone could challenge her for the kingdom, for everything she has, in a duel of magic, and she wouldn't be able to do anything. Therefore, she gets access to a magic item that spins when it detects a person's magic power, and the faster it spins, the more magic power the person has. But it doesn't do anything with Athanasia, which is a bit strange, since her father Cloud has the greatest magic power in the entire kingdom, and her mother was a magic dancer. So it's absolutely strange that she can't use it. From another perspective, we see Lillian walking along the city's roads, buying some fruits and things for the princess, and everyone is obviously talking about her. It's just a matter of time before they obviously name her after the princess. It's been 2 years since they last tried to get Athanasia a study buddy. The scene shifts to the library while Athanasia was reciting what appears to be a poem with her father listening attentively. The ugly one, Alpheus, comes to him again, telling him that now Athanasia has grown up, that every time he sees her she is more charming, and that if now she is ready to have a person to study with, but that it does not need to be his son, since he has a girl his age named Jeanette Margarita. Athanasia doesn't want to hear anything about that woman and wants her completely away from her, and her father too. So she starts telling Alpheus that she knows much more than that Jeanette, that she can't help him with any kind of studies, and she starts reciting to him what Obelia's constitution is, article by article. Come on, she's an impressive girl. So Alpheus doesn't really have much else to offer that's useful. And not only that, but this supposed Jeanette also has some similar tastes to Athanasia, since a famous book has just arrived from another kingdom, and Jeanette is waiting for it to be translated so she can read it. And Athanasia gives her one as a gift to take to Jeanette, and it was just a flex. Why? Because on the cover it says that it was translated by herself, by Athanasia. Yes, she is an extremely intelligent girl. She simply asks Alpheus to bend down, and she touches his hair, telling him it's as soft as a white bunny, telling her to remember that she doesn't need anyone by her side. Silly. From another perspective, Cloud watches all this and gives her a book that Athanasia had been asking for. The scene shifts to Athanasia once again in the forest, trying to unleash her magical powers, since this book was a grimoire containing spells, incantations from a rather ancient wizard, whose name had already been lost. And one of those spells served to unleash or reveal a person's magical power. So Athanasia tries it, makes the seal on the ground, and the book disappears. It goes to another location. And here, Athanasia collides with this guy who had been investigating this temporal change that had happened. When he sees what he felt led him to Athanasia, he believes he was wrong, that she is not the one who made all this temporary change. After that, Felix arrives to talk to Athanasia, to take her away from there. But this guy with a snap of his fingers makes Felix forget what he was doing and leaves there, leaving them alone. And where this guy, who calls himself Lucas, who is the most powerful magician of all, says not to do that spell, that incantation that was in the book, because it could bring bad things, and he leaves there. Athanasia then says, and he puts out his hand, he looks at Lucas, and he leaves there. Afterwards, Athanasia tries to tell Felix that he had been bewitched, but he doesn't believe him. And with all this, Felix goes to Cloud, telling him that maybe, just maybe, the little princess needs a friend her own age, since, well, she needs a boy, so she can talk about boy things. Obviously apologizing and saying that he has nothing to do with the noble Alpheus, that he is not supporting him in offering it to someone or anything like that. It's just a comment, and Cloud looks at him and says that he's basically trying to tell him that none of them can entertain a child. So Felix gets offended and runs out of there crying. The scene shifts to the afternoon. Athanasia arrives at tea time with her father, where she is especially delighted to eat cakes. A chocolate one that is her favorite, but which lately she goes to the kitchen to look for but never finds. Come on, they're stealing his chocolate cake and he doesn't know who it is, but his dad always has it. Here, Cloud directly asks Athanasia if she needs to have a friend, if she wants one, that she can choose it herself if she wants. But Athanasia tells him that it is not necessary, since her father, Lillian, and Felix are more than enough. She's fine. And basically, Athanasia wants to be calm until she turns 18 because she has to continue researching how to use her magic if she doesn't really have it. After that, he uses this book again in the spell that this suspicious wizard had told him not to do, and we see how some chains break. This book showed what her life was going to be like, which Athanasia dreamed about every night, and that's why she knew everything that was going to happen. Some magical chains are broken and something happens. But here again appears this mysterious magician who calls himself Lucas, telling him that he had told him not to do it. He also asks him who his father is, because it is obvious that he has Obelian blood, and begins to name some very, very ancient kings. And it has been 400 years since the last king, appointed by this mysterious magician who calls himself Lucas. But that's the least of Lucas's concerns. He simply approaches Athanasia, looks at her eyes, and tells her that in that Obelian family, the bluer and lighter the eyes, the more powerful they are in magic. It is very strange that Athanasia does not own anything of it. Lucas uses his magic to see what secrets Athanasia is hiding, but she continues to resist. After that, here, Lucas drops her from the heights to make her talk, but she is saved by a black cloud which escapes when Lucas threatens her. We don't know where the cloud came from, but it saved Athanasia. Obviously, Athanasia sees that this guy wants to hurt her, so she runs away from there. But she can't escape from Lucas. And in fact, Lucas excuses here Athanasia remembers what protective magic spells were like, and casts one. So yes, a magical power has just been activated, and we were assuming that she couldn't possess magic. Lucas stands still and simply breaks this defensive spell, and is left thinking that they will soon see each other again. After that, Athanasia, who is running through the forest to see her father to tell him everything that had happened, ends up fainting and also coughing up blood. Something bad is happening to him. Obviously, Felix and Cloud are very worried. Thus ends chapter number 5 of A Charming Princess. The truth is that a very good, very intriguing chapter 5. More years have passed. Obviously, Athanasia's relationship with her father is becoming more and more solidified. She's already the princess no matter what, but she's tried to improve in every way she can so that she won't be displaced. Still, what it doesn't have is magic, and it's necessary. So he's trying to do everything, and it seems like what he just did now caused him a lot of damage. Let's hope he's okay, but we'll see in the next chapter. Tell us what you thought of this chapter number 5. Leave your comments, your likes, and nothing else. Thank you very much for watching. The episode begins with Cloud summoned all the healer wizards in the castle. One by one they came to try to cure and see what was happening to Athanasia, but none of them found the source of her discomfort. Everyone apologized to him, so Cloud wanted to send for all the wizards who know something about healing in the entire kingdom, but it wasn't necessary, since Lucas appeared by himself, now in a much smaller package, a mini Lucas in a child's body. He said to leave everything to him. By the way, we see that a clock starts to move, and behind it is Athanasia's heart, as if it were a seal, and something is also affecting Cloud himself. During Athanasia's dreams, while she was in a coma, we have Diana, who sang songs to her while she was still in her womb. A very nice dream, but Athanasia's woken up by little Lucas, and when she sees him, she gets a little scared, because she knows that he is the same one who had already told her that she didn't have to do that spell, because it was going to endanger her life, and Athanasia didn't listen to him. So here she wanted to play dumb a bit, not pay attention to him, but it was Lucas himself who told her that he had saved her. So at least she deserved a thank you. Athanasia's chest didn't even hurt now. They have a moment there to fight, but Cloud just arrives with Lilia and Felix, who were the happiest that Athanasia could finally be up and healthy, since she had been in bed for a whole month. And we see how her relationship with her father has already improved a lot, since he carries her and lovingly asks her if she is okay now. When Atanias tried to tell him that Lucas was the cause or that he had tried to hurt her, Lucas spoke quickly and said that with all the help Atanias had given him, he felt a little bad that he had used all his magic and was obviously acting. I just didn't want Atanas to spill the beans and say things he shouldn't. He acted a little weak, almost fainting, so Cloud went to hold him. And here Luke used magic and managed to see some things that we still don't understand. Still, Cloud tells him that he will reward him properly for having helped. Obviously, having saved his daughter, and that for now he can stay in the palace taking care of the princess. So, Lucas got what he wanted, and Atanas couldn't do anything. It turns out that with the concern now Claude is going to make his daughter go to the Esmeralda Palace, that he leaves the Ruiz Palace because he is very old. Athanasia obviously has her doubts and worries, since the one who arrived at the Emerald Palace had been Jeanette in her visions, so she is afraid of meeting her, but for now she is only going to think about spending time with her father and also getting rid of this new problem she has, which is Luca following her everywhere. He's basically living for free in the castle. Because you have to continue taking care of your health. Athanasia asks him if he is not a liar, why is he pretending to be a child? And from what Lucas tells him, he's been asleep for 400 years, and his magic isn't at 100% yet. And his real adult body uses too much energy, so that's why he has to be in that tiny little child shape. Besides, according to him, he had also used his magic to save Athanasia. Because the problem had been that someone sealed Athanasia's power, and her trying to free it made all this contained magic come out at once. Come on, Athanasia's power is extremely high. She possesses a lot of magic, and the person who sealed her magic did so to help her. Because if he hadn't done so, her body basically wouldn't have withstood so much power. Just as Lucas tells Claudia as much as others that Athanasia is probably the most powerful monarch in the Empire, here appears the creature that had saved Athanasia when Lucas had caught her and dropped her, which turns out to be a being created by Athanasia's own magic. It is a divine beast, and Lucas advises him not to touch it too much. Why? Because as it is its own magic, it is made of power. Every time Athanasia touches him, she is consuming that magic. It is returning to her body, and this is dangerous because we already said that it is too much power and can explode at any moment. He's basically a walking bomb, since Kuro, as Atanas named the little kitten, or Blackie in English, is the incarnation of Athanasia's magic. The main thing Lucas tells her is that Athanasia must learn to control her magic so that her body doesn't break down and she can use it. The problem is that he tries to control this magic, but now it seems that he has no magic again. Even the teacher assigned to Athanasia to teach her how to use her magic gives up, telling her that the princess has reached her limit. She takes Kuro back, but Lucas reappears and tells her to listen to him, to stop touching Kuro, because that could cause her to absorb all of his magic again, and he would have to save her again. Assange tries to hide Kuro from her father, but the first to come out and tell everything is Lucas, the one who always acts in front of the king. Is dangerous for the princess, but if she touches him from time to time, nothing will happen, and he'll keep an eye on her to make sure nothing happens to her. So, Athanasia sees that, although it is a little annoying, he also tries to help her. And while Athanasia has this moment to thank her father for letting her stay with Kuro, Athanasia continues trying to control her magic on her own, but she can't, and she does increasingly dangerous things. And Lucas suddenly appears to bother her by telling her to be careful. So here Athanasia comes up with something. Since he was the one who told her she had to learn to control her magic, maybe he could help him. And the way he's going to convince him, so to speak, is that he's always around, and he's always hungry, so now you have a way to offer him something in return for his teachings. We see that the noble thieves went again with Cloud to insist on this friendship that Athanasia needs, but he will no longer be her son because he is going to study abroad. But instead he once again offers him the friendship of Jeanette, who has been trying hard for the princess. Cloud tells Athanasia that if she wants, she can be her friend, and if not, it's fine. But Athanasia says yes, that it's a good idea to be friends, but that she has her own choice. And this is where Lucas comes in. Now he wants him as a friend, and obviously Lucas is also going to teach him how to use his magic. They go through different ways of how to control Athanasia's magic, to teach her the basics, and even make her exercise, since her body must be strong to be able to use much more power. It's not easy at all, since it seems that Athanasia has a lot of sealed power, and this makes it difficult for her to use any of it. But little by little she manages to do the most basic thing, which was to use her magic on a writing pen, which was levitating the pen while she was sleeping, so his magic is working, and Lucas can see that. Lucas asks her why she tries so hard when it's not necessary, since to live peacefully as she already is, she doesn't need anything else. But of course, it's not just what Athanasia wants. She wants to continue sharing her time with her father. She wants to be his beloved daughter, Cloud's favorite. So that's why she tries so hard to be by his side. And we see that Cloud is already delighted with his daughter. He already smiles and hugs her every chance he gets. We see that he had been worried about this Lucas. He investigated him and sent Felix to do it. And of course, it seems that several people know Lucas from his magic class, but none of them have any memory of him, so possibly all he did was implant memories. Basically, Luke is not in the records because we already know he is over 400 years old. Felix says that it could be dangerous for him to be next to the princess, but we see that Cloud also used his eyes, his powers, to see a little of him at that moment when they approached. And he says that this Lucas comes from a place called Ogre, and that he doesn't seem to have any bad intentions towards Athanasia, so he's going to leave her by his side. Felix tells her that it's noticeable that he's growing more attached to his daughter, and when he says that, he regrets it and quickly leaves. We see that it is true, Cloud reflects, and says that now he understands that what he feels is love. Thus ends chapter number 6 of A Charming Princess. As I said, a very nice, very good episode. It gets more and more entertaining, and with the inclusion of Lucas, it will undoubtedly be a great addition to the series. Athanasia is still a child for now, but we'll probably soon have that time jump where we can see her a little older. Tell me what you thought of the episode, leave your comments and likes so I can keep bringing you the summaries of this anime. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. The episode of this anime begins when Athanasia was with the magician who is teaching her, and all the magic path is her life. She tells him that no matter what the job is, she knows that if she works hard she can do anything, but she was completely wrong. She tells him that his sense of responsibility is very poor. The magician asks her if she is still determined to have him teach her every small detail. She replies that it does not necessarily have to be every small detail, but she is new to this and he should be a little kinder to her. The magician informs her that magic is the application of her magical power to operate the necessary elements, and before she does that, she must compose these elements through her own efforts. Athanasia gets angry with him and asks him to stop talking nonsense. The magician mocks her greatly. Athanasia asks him not to laugh at her, as she only wants him to teach her seriously and make her work while she does nothing. The magician speaks to her seriously, saying that magical power is something they are born with, and everyone uses it differently. For example, he uses his magical power to pour tea and tidy the place. Then he tells her that he does it the right way, not like she does, so she must earn it herself, or this magic will never be hers. Athanasia thinks to herself a lot, because she wants to do it alone since he did not even want to teach her the basic trick behind it. The magician tells her that he indeed did not want to tell her anything because she must acquire it herself. She begs him to tell her any detail, but the magician does not answer her and tells her that she is very foolish. Then she remembers when she was with her father, where she was trying to use magic to cut a pomegranate in half, but she could not do it. Her father asks her not to pressure herself, as long as this matter is very difficult for her. Then he tells her that she should think differently to address the problem of her magical power. His daughter told him that this matter did not cause her a problem, and she would manage it herself. Then we return to reality again when Athanasia was sitting with the magician, where she tells him that she is very exhausted. The magician informs her that what she is doing is never right, as this behavior is bad for a princess. She tells him that what she is doing is from his teaching. He replies that this is how magic is taught, and the matter was the same 400 years ago. Athanasia is astonished, because he means that he also learned magic the same way, and that he has lived a very long life then. Then she tells him that she still does not trust him, as she does not know who he is, where he came from, or his full name. He replies that he told her before that he is a great magician and that is all, and he did not tell her anything else. Athanasia gets angry with him and tells him that if she had known he was this annoying, she would have asked for Duke Alpheus' son instead of him, as he is much more understanding than him, and was not as arrogant or selfish as him. And he tries to understand the person sitting with him and is nice to strangers too. She wishes she had not been biased against Duke Alpheus' son, as the boy did not necessarily have to be bad because his father is Duke Alpheus. The magician gets angry with her and tells her that it looks like she desperately wants to be that man's friend. Then, he fulfills her wish and sends her from her place to that place, where she falls from the sky to the ground, terrified, as she does not know where the magician sent her. Then she falls onto that boy. When he sees her, he is impressed by her beauty and asks her if she is an angel or what. When Athanasia looks at him closely, she realizes that he is the son of Duke Alpheus, and his name is Ezekiel. When he asks her again if she is an angel or what, Athanasia replies that she cannot tell him who she is. Then she tells him shyly that he is right, she is an angel, just as he said. Then she says to herself that she wants to do anything to cover everything up. Ezekiel looks at her with wonder, because her eyes are blue like a jewel, and only the direct descendant of the imperial family possesses these eyes. Then he knows that she is Princess Athanasia of the Abelian Empire. His father then arrived and interrupted them, but Athanasia disappeared because she did not want Ezekiel's father to see her. He asks him what he is doing here alone, and Ezekiel tells him there is nothing, he was just thinking a little. We see Athanasia very worried, because if his father finds her, things will become complicated. They look exactly alike after she saw them together. After that, his father asks him, "Are you dissatisfied with your study plans abroad in Arlianta?" But Ezekiel tells him, "It's not a matter of me being dissatisfied. I'm worried about Jeanette. She cried a lot, and repeatedly said that she doesn't want us to be separated." His father replies, "There's no need to listen to everything she says. Instead of her selfish whims, you should think about the prosperity of our family. I planned for you to be the princess's study partner. If you attract the princess's attention, there will be no need for your studies abroad. But for some reason, the princess seems to consider me an enemy." Ezekiel tells him that the princess has the right to choose for herself. We cannot force her. Then his father asks him, "Are you done preparing your bag? You will leave soon." Then we see Ezekiel break his silence, saying, "I can study in Ubelia as well. Have you reconsidered sending me to study abroad?" His father gets angry, saying, "If you want things to go your way, you must gain the necessary skills to achieve them." Then they leave. The princess comes out and asks Ezekiel, "Are you all right or not?" saying, "I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard everything that happened between you." We see Ezekiel very sad. Athanasia says to herself, "I can't go back now. I can be here for him instead." Then she talks to Ezekiel, asking him to tell her about his worries and not to be so sad. Ezekiel becomes very happy that she will listen to him and asks her, "Do you feel pressured by your family?" "I am proud to be the successor of my family, but this means I am not allowed to act on my own. Sometimes it's hard to understand the reason for my existence in this life, and sometimes the scenarios my father creates exhaust me." Athanasia says to herself, "He's about the same age as me, but he's balanced." In my dreams, Ezekiel, with his father, always made me think he was cunning like his father. I never imagined he would have this sensitive side, always worrying about others' perception. It's not an easy thing for anyone. After that, Athanasia talks to Ezekiel happily, saying, "You should finish your studies as soon as possible. It bothers me that you don't possess the sufficient skills to get things done." Ezekiel laughs a lot, saying, "I was telling myself that you are absolutely right. The power struggle between the nobles never ends. Standing up and facing all that, that's what my father is training me for. He might seem cold-hearted, but that is an expression of his kindness and affection. As the successor to the family, I want to live up to his expectations." Athanasia smiles slightly at Ezekiel, telling him, "You are a very strong person." Suddenly, the magician uses his power and brings her to him, saying to her, "It seems you had a fun time. If things had continued that way, I wouldn't have been able to have dinner at the Duke's house." Athanasia gets angry at him and hits him, saying, "Because you sent me there and then dragged me back here doing as you please. Think about my feelings for once. You do whatever you want and won't teach me magic. You don't think about other people's feelings. You are terrible. Suddenly I disappeared without saying goodbye. He must think I'm very rude. I'm very upset." Then the magician suggests that she go back and explain everything to him. But Athanasia gets very angry with him, saying, "Don't complicate things more than they already are. Listen to me for once. I can't stand staying with you." Then the scene shifts to the garden, and the maid says, "Since the magician arrived, vitality has pulsed in the princess." Athanasia hurries off, and Lillian asks her, "Your Highness, it is almost time for dinner. Where are you going?" Athanasia says to herself, "That Lucas, he is very provocative. I will not talk to him anymore." She says, "A week has passed already and I still can't use any new magic. What does he mean by acquire? I don't understand. If things remain like this, everything I saw in my dreams will happen." Then her mother calls out to her, and Athanasia is surprised and says, "What was that? It was as if I heard Mom's voice." Then her mother's image appears on the water, and Athanasia asks her, "Am I truly incapable of doing anything?" Her mother tells her, "You worked hard. It's okay if you can't use magic. Of course, you are my beloved daughter." Athanasia goes to hug her mother, and while hugging her mother, Athanasia falls into the lake. The magician senses that Athanasia is in danger, so he uses his power to go to her and save her. Athanasia uses her power to save herself, and asks herself, "Did I use it?" The magician replies to her, "Yes, you acquired water magic. It's not like I came here to save you. I just happened to be passing by." Athanasia asks him, saying, "Lucas, did you see that? I used magic." She is happy because she used her magic and tells him that she is moving away from the Lotus of Dreams. Then she tells him, "You are arrogant all the time, really, but your words had an impact." Then she thanks him and asks him, "Will you continue giving me magic lessons, please?" Lucas replies that he agrees and tells her, "Let's go back." He asks her, "I'm not scaring you, am I? You know I'm a powerful magician, yet you punched me." Athanasia replies to him saying, "So what if you are a powerful magician? Would you punch back?" Lucas replies, "No need. I don't intend to fight a child." Athanasia tells him, "You are a child too, so this is what you meant by acquire. This is not difficult at all." Then Lillian rushes to her and asks her, "What happened, Your Highness?" Athanasia replies to her, saying, "Everything is fine. I just lay down on some grass." Then Claude comes from behind her and asks her, "Lay down on some grass? And what is the nature of the magic you were studying?" And so, today's episode ends. If you liked the video, please click like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. The anime episode begins with Ionasia trying to move her teacup using a wind spell while with Lucas. She successfully casts the spell and the cup moves. Thrilled, she tells Lucas she can now move objects from afar. Lucas replies that he never expected her to learn so quickly. He truly is a genius. He announces it's time to teach her something much more spectacular. She immediately asks if she can learn magic to make someone float. Lucas shuts her down, saying her dreams are getting ahead of her. He explains that moving objects remotely is just the basics. If she wants to make someone float, she first needs to master moving much larger, solid objects. When Athanasia asks what kind of larger objects he means, Lucas proceeds to levitate everything around them, including Anasia herself. Terrified, Anasia begs him to stop. After he finishes the demonstration, he asks for her opinion. Sure, she must be thoroughly impressed now. Frightened, she stammered, "You're right, you are the most amazing. But that was my teacup. Please bring it back right now." Anashade then laments that learning magic is too difficult. She doesn't understand how others do it. She decides to go talk to Ezekiel. Realizing she didn't get to say a proper goodbye last time, she asks Lucas if he can send her to the Alphys mansion again. Just like before, Lucas teases her, suggesting she's thinking about the Duke's son so much she can't forget him. Anasia cuts him off, insisting she has important business there. He refuses, citing her mana as being too precious, and he won't let her waste it. She gets upset, pointing out he just wasted it on the levitation spell moments ago. He counters that he only did what she asked, then casts the blame on her, wondering what scheme she's planning this time. Anasia tries a different approach. She flatters him intensely, calling him a handsome and amazing wizard, then begs him sweetly. Though clearly affected, he pretends to be indifferent. "Fine, I won't stop you if you really want to go." He then transports her there. There she meets Ezekiel and greets him, saying she came back to bother him again. He replies that she takes him by surprise every time she appears and jokes that she must be a fairy. She answers that all fairy tales say fairies appear and disappear whenever they please. Ejek then looks into her eyes and asks about their red color. Inaj recalls that she had asked Lucas to change her eye color to red, matching his before she left. Back in the present, Ezekiel tells her he was very worried when she vanished so suddenly last time, but he was reassured once he knew she was safe. Anasia tells him she returned because she wasn't able to say a proper farewell. Ezekiel is overjoyed that she cares about him, admitting he had been praying to meet her again. Athanasia looks around and notices he's packing his belongings. He confirms he is leaving. The ship headed to Atlanta arrives in 2 days. Athanasia is saddened that he will be moving so far away from her in the capital. However, she recalls that he is the future duke and is supposed to grow up surrounded by love and protection. He is also fated to fall in love with Jeanette, become her sweetheart, and live a happy and fulfilling life. As she moves around the room, she trips over a suitcase and falls to the floor. But Ejact catches her before she hits the ground. He then gathers the books that scattered. Inaja looks at him and thinks to herself that he truly works hard. She hasn't even read those books yet. Ejact tells her that his father's arrangements are correct. Despite Atlanta being far away, it has excellent teachers. Athanasia asks when he will return. He replies that he will return when he is worthy to face the princess. Jeanette arrives to see Ezekiel. She asks him to read a book with her and go outside, but he firmly refuses. She asks if someone is in his room. He tells her he will close the door and rejoin her shortly, then excuses himself from Anasia, saying he won't be long. Athanasia comments to herself that Jeanette must be a very lovely child based on her voice. She realizes that this is Jeanette, the figure who has appeared in her prophetic dreams all this time. Jeanette's mother was the Duke's younger cousin and Anasia's father's former fiancé. There were rumors that her mother slighted Anasia's father when he wasn't the heir to the throne. When he claimed the throne, he ended the engagement based on her previous behavior. She later vanished after becoming involved with another royal noble. She died giving birth to the child with jewel eyes, Jeanette. Jeanette was then adopted by the Duke, grew up to be beautiful and elegant, eventually catching her father's eye once Duke Elphas introduced her, and becoming beloved by everyone as the happy princess. Anasia concludes, "I'm supposed to hate her." Suddenly Lucas appears and states that Jeanette is a chimera, a child created using black magic. They proceed to follow and observe Jeanette. Anasia asks why they are tracking them. Lucas assures her not to worry. He set up a magical curtain so they cannot see them. "I am deeply fascinated by that chimera. Do not interrupt my observations." Jeanette asks Ezekiel to spend some time with her and he offers to play a musical piece for her. Lucas speaks to Anasia again, stating that the more he looks at this chimera, the more he notices her mana wavelength is impure, as if it's mixed with something else. She is surrounded by an aura of black magic. Anasia gets angry, telling Lucas he's overreacting. "She's a beautiful and charming girl." Lucas points out, "You defend her too much. She has the blue eyes of the Oilian royal family. Could she possibly be your sister? Come on, let's follow them." Ezekiel asks Jeanette if she would like to hear a specific musical piece, but she says no. She loves everything he plays. Athanasia speaks up to Lucas. "That's enough. Let's go. This is not something we should be eavesdropping on." They continue watching Ezekiel play for Jeanette, and Jeanette begins to cry. Ezekiel stops playing, and Jeanette apologizes, saying she just wanted to listen to his piano playing. He assures her he will play again. Jeanette asks him to stay, saying she wants to hear him play the piano as usual. Ezekiel reveals that leaving was his father's idea. Jeanette insists she will talk to the Duke and ask him to let Ezekiel stay. He tells her, "This is my wish too." She asks him, "Why aren't I the one you love the most? Don't you always do everything I ask?" Ezekiel tells her, "This situation is different." Jeanette responds, "You are the only one who cares about me. If you leave, I will." Ezekiel assures her he won't be gone forever and promises to write to her. Jeanette cries, "Don't leave, brother." Anasia reflects, thinking, so Jeanette also faces moments of separation like this. She begs, but she is powerless to change the situation. Anasia remembers herself begging her own parents and questions why her father didn't care about her. "We both lost our parents at a young age. Jeanette is just like me. We are both lonely." She returns to the present and says to herself, "I don't know why, but I really want to see my father right now." Lucas asks her, "You saw her future, didn't you?" Anasia denies it, saying, "Seeing the future is something even my father can't do." She asks Lucas why he is talking about this with a child. Lucas replies that she is no ordinary child and tells Athanasia they are heading back home. He muses to himself, "How will things develop from here? My interest is growing more and more." Athanasia mentally says goodbye to Ezekiel and Jeanette. The scene shifts to Anasia, rushing excitedly toward her father, telling him how much she missed him. Claude comments that she shows up whenever she pleases. Felix says, "Your Majesty, you're acting like a crow today." Anasia asks, "Am I cute like a crow?" Felix replies, "You are the cutest on the entire continent." Claude tells Felix, "Don't spoil her too much. Keep a 10-foot distance from her." Claude then asks Athanasia, "Why did you suddenly come looking for me?" Anasia replies that she's been studying magic all this time and hasn't had a chance to see him. She missed him. Claude asks, "Is studying magic exhausting?" Anasia says, "It is exhausting. I don't get enough sleep every day, but I will absolutely not give up halfway." Claude tells her, "You must have exerted yourself more than I imagined. I initially thought I would just accept it when you suggested giving up, but I see your determination now. Go on and keep working at it." And Anasia asks him, "Will you always love me, father?" Her father asks why she says that. She replies, "She just needs to know." Her father answers, "Of course." Anasia is thrilled. "It's a promise. Things will stay this way forever." Her father confirms, "Yes, it's a promise." The scene transitions to Anasia sitting on her bed talking to herself. "It's fascinating to see people from my dreams. I quickly notice that things in reality differ little by little from my dreams. My father doesn't reject me like he did in my dreams. I is different from his father and Jeanette just wants to be loved by her family. Nothing more. Perhaps I was overly influenced by my prophetic dreams. That's not good. Then, Lucas appears, speaking to himself. Interesting. Fate is diverging more and more. Which direction will you lead this story, my little princess? And that concludes today's episode. If you like the video, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button so you receive every new update. The anime episode starts with Athanasia at the age of 14. She mentions that in Obelia, the age of 14 is the most prominent in one's life, as young men and women participate in their first ball, revealing their first public dance. Time flies, and her 14th birthday and her first ball are fast approaching. She is currently practicing for her ball. Her teacher tells her that she is graceful in her footwork, just like a fairy. Athanasia replies that she is exaggerating. The teacher encourages her and reminds her that the ball is only a month away, and to represent the glory of Obelia, she must choose a dance partner who suits her status as soon as possible. Athanasia agrees to this. She then sits in her room to choose her partner for the ball, but she doesn't know who to select. She didn't expect this year's birthday to be so complicated. Speaking of which, her father has given her many birthday surprises. Since her close encounter with him when she was 5, he has given her shining gemstones, elegant jewelry, luxurious evening gowns, and even a key to a vault on her 7th birthday. She then remembers going with her maid, who tells her that her father built this library specifically for her to read in as she pleases. Athanasia is very impressed by this, as this library belongs to her alone. She then asks her maid if her father will be able to attend her birthday party. Felix apologizes to her, as her father has to meet with the court minister, and he fears that he won't have time. Athanasia is very saddened, but she doesn't show it to them. Inside, she is sad because her father has never attended any of her birthdays before. She then thinks that her birthday is also the anniversary of her mother's death, which is why he doesn't want to come. This is why Lillian and Felix spend her birthday with her every year, until this year. As she sits, thinking about her partner, Lucas comes to her and asks her what she is doing and who the people in the pictures in front of her are. Before she can answer, he tells her that he knows she's looking for a dance partner, and they all look dazzling, so surely one of them caught her attention. Athanasia leaves to go, and he asks her where she is going. She is dissatisfied because her standards are too high, and yet none of them can compare to a certain someone. Athanasia gets angry at him and tells him to leave, as he doesn't know what's wrong with her. He tells her that he knows everything, that she wants her father to spend her birthday with her, and that she has been upset about this every year. But she just needs to ask her father for it. It wouldn't be hard at all. He is her father, and she just needs to be honest with him. Athanasia, feeling sad, asks him to leave her alone for a while. The next day, we see Athanasia sitting with her father for tea, and he asks her about her dance practice. She replies that she is still practicing. He asks her if she has chosen a partner for her first dance yet. He states that this will be her first time appearing in a public ballroom, so her partner's status will affect her overall reputation. He suggests she doesn't worry about choosing a partner, as perhaps he can choose one for her. She replies that he shouldn't worry about it, as she will decide in the next few days. He asks her if she has any special wishes or requests from him for her birthday this year. She tells him that she would be content with anything, as long as it's from him. She then remembers Lucas's words, when he told her that she should tell her father to spend her birthday with her. She then tells her father that there is one thing she would like to request, which is for him to spend her birthday with her, just this once. Her father doesn't answer her. He then asks her if there is anything else she desires, and she realizes she shouldn't think about anything else. Athanasia apologizes to him and asks him to forget what she said, as she is already very happy with the time they spent together. She then asks to be excused. As she is leaving, Felix comes to her and asks to accompany her on her way. She asks him if she was too selfish to ask her father to spend her birthday with her. Felix tells her that it is very natural for her to want her father to be there with her, but the thing is, he has gotten used to isolating himself in the palace on that particular day, and it has become a habit. He then talks to her about her dance partner, asking if she has any suggestions. Athanasia laughs with him and asks if he wants to dance with her. Felix is shocked by this, and tells her that he would wish to, of course, if it were possible, but he doesn't dare to ask for that, and that there is certainly a better choice than him. Athanasia asks him if he doesn't like the idea of dancing with her. Felix becomes very nervous and tells her that he didn't mean that, but he doesn't dare to ask for this. When she returns to her room, she thinks about Mr. Felix's words with Lillian. Lillian tells her that she suspects he is hinting that her father wants to dance with her. Athanasia ponders her words and says that these days, the tradition of the older family members leading the dance has become rare. But these days, the tradition of older family members leading the dance has become rare. Young girls usually choose someone their own age for their first dance. The Emperor cares about the matter a lot, just as with choosing her study partner. His Majesty had some concerns, but at the same time he respected your choices and opinions. Athanasia then remembers her father asking her about the dance. This will be your first time appearing in a public ballroom. The status of your partner will affect your social reputation. If you are confused about choosing a partner, perhaps I can choose one with you. Afterward, Athanasia talks to the maid, saying, "My father wants to dance with me." We then see Athanasia growing up and practicing dancing by herself. Lucas appears and prevents her from falling, saying, "Didn't you learn to protect yourself using magic?" Athanasia hits him, saying, "I don't need your help, I can do it myself." She then asks him why he's there, assuming he came to mock her. We see Athanasia's feet hurting. Lucas helps her and heals her, telling her, "I didn't come here to mock you. This morning, regarding your father, I should have told you what you ought to do. You have your own way of communicating." He apologizes, saying, "I don't understand these things." Athanasia is surprised that he apologized, and she tells him, "But if you want to help me practice dancing, I will forgive you." Lucas agrees to accompany her. Then the maid arrives and is very happy that Athanasia chose Lucas to dance with her. She wants to go and share this news with everyone immediately. Athanasia gets angry and Lucas laughs. He then says, "You can learn from me in this regard. What I mean is that you can express your inner thoughts to your father. Listen more to the voice in your heart. You are a very clever girl." The next day, practice begins. Lucas tells her, "Today will be a special test on magical theory, but it will be difficult, so give it your full concentration." Athanasia quickly writes and hands him the paper, and he is very surprised by her speed. Athanasia is happy with what she is doing, and is also very active. After that, Felix asks her if she wants to go to the garden today, but she refuses, saying she will go the next time. Lillian and Felix are surprised that she is so busy and very secretive, neglecting them during this period. We also see Athanasia neglecting her father and not visiting him, which negatively affects his morale. Then we go to Athanasia and see her drawing something. Finally, Athanasia goes to her father the next day and apologizes for her delay. He tells her, "No problem, I wasn't doing anything." Athanasia then eats and tells her father that she loves talking to him very much. Claude speaks to Athanasia, saying, "I haven't seen you at afternoon tea recently. I started to think you didn't want to see me." Athanasia replies, "Actually, I was preparing a very special gift for you, father." Claude responds, "You don't have to give me any gift." Athanasia says, "You've always made sure to give me surprise birthday gifts over the years, and I'm always very happy. This year, I want to return the favor and give you a gift, father." Felix asks, "What do you mean? Instead of receiving gifts, you want to give one?" Athanasia informs him, "There is no law in Obelia that prevents me from giving gifts on my birthday." Felix responds, "You are right." Claude then says, "You've always been unique. Do you have something in mind?" Athanasia answers, "Yes. Despite all the different paintings you have in the palace, I always felt like something was missing whenever I looked at them. So I drew this for you. I hope you like it." Felix speaks, saying, "So you isolated yourself in your room all this time, Your Highness, sacrificing sleep and rest just to draw this by yourself? And you even used expensive magical dye?" Athanasia replies, "Yes, I hope this painting is preserved forever." Claude says, "Besides your regular studies, you also received dance lessons, and yet you managed to find enough time to draw. You've always been diligent in your work." Athanasia tells him, "You always wish for my happiness, so I hope this gift brings you happiness too, father. At the ball, I want to fulfill your birthday wish, so I have a request." She then asks him, "Will you be my partner for the first dance?" The scene shifts to the birthday celebration, where they congratulate her, saying, "Happy 14th birthday, Your Highness." She thanks him, and some servants offer her gifts and congratulate her. She then asks them to eat cake and celebrate her birthday, and she thanks them all. She then goes to her room, sits on the bed and talks to herself, saying, "Today was a joyous day." Lucas then comes to her and she asks him why he's late. He tells her, "I'm a great magician. Do you think I'm free all the time?" She then asks him, "Where's my birthday gift? I hope you're not going to say it's a crow." He asks her to close her eyes and count to 3. He then uses his magic to ignite some bubbles in the sky. She is amazed by them and is happy. He asks her, "What do you think? Are you surprised by the magic now?" She thanks him from the bottom of her heart. Athanasia then talks to herself, saying, "A lot of changes have happened over the years. I was surrounded by many people in whom I felt kindness, and I am very grateful to have met you all. I can truly say that I am happy. I only wish I could share this happiness with my father as well." The scene shifts to Claude looking at the painting and recalling his words to Athanasia where he says, "You don't have to do that." Athanasia asks him, "Why not? I am your daughter. I want to be able to do something for you too." He then remembers her words to him in the past, where Athanasia says, "My mother and I will always be by your side." And with that, today's episode ends. If you liked the video, please click like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new content. Our episode begins by welcoming that bright sun, and the most precious pearl in the city of Obelia. And now, the curtain will be raised. Yes, it is that girl with the blue eyes. Perhaps she is Princess Jeanette, who has returned to the palace after being a commoner. She is so beautiful. This is the serenity an Obelian princess should possess. The people were stunned by her extreme beauty, so much so that they were talking and saying, "Look at Anastasius's hateful expression." She doesn't measure up next to the other girl. She is very beautiful. Anastasius then speaks, saying to him, the emperor, "Father, I am your daughter too. Wait for me, father, look at me." But suddenly she wakes up and realizes it was a harsh dream. She catches her breath and says, "Thank God it was just a dream and not reality." The scene shifts to her training for the dance. Her instructor tells her, "Pay attention to the rhythm, steady your legs, and never relax them." But she falls. The instructor stands up and says to her, "What's wrong? You don't seem well today. The ball is approaching. You ought to be better than this. This is the first time you will appear before the kingdom's nobles. His Majesty has great hopes for you. You must not disappoint His Majesty." Anastasius replies, "That's right. This ball is very important to me. If Jeanette comes and father knows that I am not his only daughter, things will change, and he might abandon me forever." She then remembers when she asked him, "I want you to be my partner for my first dance," but he unfortunately hasn't given her an answer yet. More importantly, I must not make any mistakes at the ball. Afterward, we see the maids talking about the princess. She is exhausting herself so much that she stumbles several times during practice. I'm afraid she's doing this because of His Majesty. At that moment, a maid comes in and says, "Someone has arrived from the Red Agate." They quickly rush to Princess Anastasius and inform her of the news and that a message was left. His Majesty has agreed to be your dance partner. He will personally accompany you to the debutante ball. She is overjoyed and her eyes water. He even sent the gown she will wear to the ball and some jewelry. They quickly get to dressing her. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Lucas, who was with Anastasius. She was preparing cake for him. She tells him, "Well done, you worked hard reading that book. Have a piece of cake and take a rest." He asks her, "What exactly do you want? What are you planning?" She replies, "Can you return to your adult form and help me practice my dance? I want you to help me with extra practice." He asks, "Why should I return to my adult form?" She answers, "Simply because father is the one who will be dancing with me, and he is tall enough. Will you agree or not?" He replies, "No, I won't agree to dance with you again. You forgot the last time I danced with you. You messed me up, stepped on my foot, and tortured me. You kept apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, my foot swelled up and hurt a lot." She says, "Don't worry, I am good at practicing now." He then makes something for her to dance with and tells her, "Go practice with this, I'm busy." She says, "What did you make? Couldn't you find anything other than this paper doll? You should have made a different doll that looked as handsome as a real person." Anastasius falls to the ground and Lucas mocks her. Anastasius gets angry at him and tells him that this happened because the paper doll is weak. She says she is very tired and prefers to practice with Felix. Lucas asks her, "Do you want to torture that night to death?" Anastasius gets angry and tells him she won't step on anyone's foot again, and there's no one better than Felix to help her practice. Then she remembers that Ezekiel should have returned from his studies, as Duke Alpheus decided to move his entire family back to the royal capital to publicize Jeanette's identity at the ball. Lucas is surprised. Anastasius tells him she heard that Ezekiel Alpheus graduated early in Arlanta with the highest marks in his class, and now she is curious to see what he looks like. Lucas gets angry and decides that Anastasius should go see him. He uses his magic to transport her outside, and she lands in a beautiful garden, right in Ezekiel's arms. Anastasius is embarrassed. Ezekiel apologizes to her for leaving 7 years ago without telling her, and is happy to see her now. Anastasius tells him he looks completely different from 7 years ago, and he tells her that he has indeed changed. Then they see that girl calling out to him. Anastasius realizes that voice belongs to Jeanette, and wonders if she is looking for Ezekiel. Ezekiel immediately takes Anastasia's hand and tells her to come with him. They arrive at a beautiful garden full of roses. He tells her that he used to come here when he was upset and wanted to be alone, calling it his secret base. She tells him that the place is very beautiful, and she is happy to be with him. Ezekiel tells her that since their meeting 7 years ago, he has been going to the place of their first encounter every day, hoping to see her again. Anastasius blushes and asks him about his life in Arlanta. "You finished all your studies in 6 years and graduated with the highest marks. You are truly exceptional, Ezekiel." She asks him to tell her some interesting stories, and he gladly agrees. He tells her that things were complicated when he first arrived there. Everyone mocked him, and although he had studied the Arlantian language beforehand, he faced many problems with studying and practical application. He would hear everyone mocking him, but he ignored them. To integrate into the boarding school's learning environment, he spent a lot of time getting to know the place. He gradually discovered that the education at the Great Arlanta Academy was very advanced, with cultured professors and a library filled with ancient books. They were even very proficient in studying sociology, and he was completely fascinated by all these things. So he worked hard, graduated from the academy with distinction, and graduated a year earlier than the rest of his classmates. At that point, he decided to return to Obelia. We return to the present and see Anastasius and Ezekiel, where Anastasius tells him that he is truly amazing. Ezekiel tells her that he is, after all, a son of the Alpheus family and cannot bring dishonor to his family name wherever he goes. Anastasius thinks to herself that she never expected Ezekiel to face all of this. He always looks like he doesn't struggle or get tired. But he was very stressed when he was studying abroad. Truly, everyone has their own struggles, so she should encourage him too. Ezekiel then tells her that there is another reason behind his early return home. He didn't want to stay in Arlanta for too long because he was afraid of missing his chance to see a certain someone. While they are talking, a large aura appears around Anastasius, and they understand that this is the time for her departure. Ezekiel tells her that next time, he will be the one to come and see her. Anastasius bids him farewell, then disappears and returns to her home, where she immediately gets angry at him because he sends her there and brings her back whenever he pleases, and that he should have warned her first before doing anything. Lucas doesn't answer her, so she asks him if he is angry. He doesn't answer again, confirming her suspicion. Then he tells her that he is in a very bad mood. She replies that she is the one who should be in a bad mood because of what he did to her. When Lucas hits her on the head, he tells her, "I feel much better now." Anastasius is astonished, thinking, what is his problem? Did he eat spoiled food, or what is wrong with him? Afterward, we see Anastasius practicing the dance with her instructor, who says to her, "You completed today's dance practice brilliantly. I hope you can maintain this level of performance for tomorrow's ball." The instructor continues, "I will end the training early today because you need to rest. That is the most important thing you need now in order to welcome tomorrow's ball. Hold on to your efforts, don't be afraid, and be very confident in yourself." In the evening, Anastasius talks to Lillian and asks her if everyone will accept her as a princess at tomorrow's ball. Lillian replies, "Yes, who wouldn't love our princess? I didn't even notice that you grew up and matured like this. When I first met you, you were so small. I didn't even dare to hold you tightly." She continues, "And now you are an elegant young lady, active, diligent, hardworking, reading all those difficult books, and training with all your might." Anastasia says to herself, "I am very nervous about tomorrow, but after hearing Lillian's answer, I feel much more at ease now." Then Lillian says to her, "Athanasia practiced with all your might, to the point where even Lucas changed his mind about you." Even during dance practice, you didn't relax for a moment. Athanasia replies, "You are praising me too much, Lillian. I'm embarrassed." Lillian tells her, "There is nothing to be embarrassed about. I have always been proud of you. The ability to watch you grow up and take a step forward every time is the greatest joy for me. I am sure His Majesty will feel the same, Your Highness. Please, don't worry excessively. The debutante ball will be a success." Athanasia thanks her. Then, Lillian says to her, "Good night, Your Highness. Tomorrow will be a busy day." Then Athanasia talks to herself, saying, "Tomorrow is the debutante ball. My father will dance with me in my first dance. This is something that never happened in my prophetic dreams. Perhaps the slightest effort exerted can change the course of fate. Father, have I become your pride? I will work hard tomorrow." And thus, today's episode ends. If you liked the video, please click like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new content. Our episode today begins as the time for the grand ball has finally arrived. Princess Anastasia was sitting while the maids were preparing her for the beautiful party, styling her hair and trimming her nails. The ball will start at 3 in the afternoon. Today is a very important day, but time is like a sword. If you do not cut it, it will cut you. "Time is running out, my lady. Let's hurry up." She told them, "I'm hungry." But they told her to be patient a little longer, as she is still undergoing a face mask program to clear up any acne or scars on her face. "We will ensure that your hair is like silk and beautiful." After that, they will put the dress on her. She was sitting excited, but also shocked to have 10 maids serving her. Finally, it was done, and we see the young Princess Anastasia, who has changed a lot. She looks more radiant than ever before. Her father sees her and finds her absolutely wonderful. Anastasia sees her father in clothes she is seeing for the first time. They are the formal attire. He extends his hand to her and tells her, "You look beautiful today." She is very happy and thanks him for agreeing to accompany her. In the evening, the curtain finally falls, and Anastasia enters with her father, but she was nervous and says, "May God protect us. Will the events I saw in my premonitory dreams happen, or what will happen? I am so scared of what will happen." Her father asks her when he sees her lost in her thoughts, "What is the matter, my beauty?" She told him, "Nothing, father. I'm just a little nervous." He told her, "Nervous? Where is the courage you had when you were little and pulled my hair and pinched my cheek?" He told her, "Don't be afraid. You are the heroine here, so let everyone greet you." She told him that there was no need for that, but she must be patient to be more resolute. The scene shifts to Jeanette. Perhaps the dream will come true. An official enters and tells her, the ball is about to begin. She asks him, "Can I meet my father and sister today, really?" He informs her, "Yes, I will reveal your identity to the emperor when the time is right. You will be recognized in the royal class." She thanks him very much for serving her, but until that time comes, she must wait patiently. The scene shifts back to Anastasia and her father, and they finally enter the ball. They watch the people from above. Everyone is waiting. Then they descend to them, and everyone is very amazed by the princess's beauty, radiance, grace, and elegance. Then they start dancing, but she steps on his foot. He almost screamed, but he transforms the scene into something beyond everyone's expectations, and they say, "It's like a scene from a painting. Oh, the splendor, oh, the beauty." He told her, "Don't worry, just follow my rhythm, not the melody." He told her, "Bravo!" Everyone applauded for them. He also told her, "Go and enjoy your ball with people your age." She thanks him profusely. Meanwhile, we see her talking to some girls, but suddenly she sees Duke Alpheus and wonders, "What's the matter? Is he about to talk to my father?" Jeanette hasn't shown up today. She remembers her dream and says, "Oh God, let this not happen." At that moment, one of the boys enters and wants to dance with her. No, 3 people. No, everyone gathers around her. She turns around and finds her friend, the one she always goes to in the second world. He tells them, "Excuse me, everyone. She had previously put in a request to dance with me, and thankfully I have arrived. Thank you for your kind compliments." They apologize and leave. He immediately asks her to dance with him, and they do, while we see her father and Roger Alpheus comes to him and starts talking to the king and brings up the subject. He told him, "Your daughter is very good, but imagine if you had 2 daughters. How would you deal with them?" The king told him, "Stop the nonsense. Tell me what you want." Roger said, "In truth, your majesty, I have an adopted daughter whom I love as if she were my own daughter. She is a cute, delicate, and well-behaved, very dignified child. She wants to see you." But before he could finish his sentence, the king told him, "Enough! I'm not in the mood to listen to your chatter, because today is only Anastasia's ball." Meanwhile, we see Anastasia dancing with her friend, and they finally finish the dance and leave. She is hesitant and says, "What should I do now?" She begins to address the guests and says, "Honored guests, I would like to draw your attention to present a gift to this wonderful father." She uses her power to do so, and something very strange happens that amazes the audience and also amazes her father, because she was able to do that. No one can do this. They only saw it in stories, but now they saw it with their own eyes. After that, she starts playing the piano, and perhaps he imagines her mother, because her mother was the only one who could do this. Indeed, we see the mother dancing with him, and it was a surprise for everyone. She dances a beautiful dance with him, and everyone applauds. Then, they shoot fireworks everywhere. The other girl, Jeanette, watches these firecrackers. After that, the ball ends, and they get into the car. The father gives his daughter that gift. He told her, "Bravo, you have done everything. 14 years, mashallah. You have matured and grown into a girl who can be relied upon." We learn after that the mother passed away, but the father was only imagining this in his mind. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Roger, and one of his officials enters and tells him, "I'm very sorry, sir, that your plan did not succeed, but you don't have other strategies now, do you?" But Roger says, "But I have other methods, and I saw you while you were talking to the prince." Then there is a knock at the door and we learn that Jeanette is at the door. That man suddenly disappears and Jeanette enters. Roger speaks to her directly and frankly and tells her, "I'm very sorry, but the king said he will not accept another daughter now. It will require you to be patient for a longer period, Jeanette." She told him, "Never mind, I am sure that I will meet my father and sister one day." The scene shifts once again to Anastasia, and she opens the gift and finds it very beautiful, as well as a congratulatory message from her father, who wishes her a very happy life. After that, messages pour in from everywhere. Everyone wants to congratulate her on her birthday. This is the end of our episode today. Wait for us in the final episode to see what will happen. But before that, you must subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new. The episode begins with Athanasia in her room at night, unable to sleep. The melody from the grand ball is still ringing in her ears. Everything had gone perfectly that evening. She had never seen such an expression on her father's face before. Furthermore, snowy Ezekiel did not bring Jeanette to meet her father as it had appeared in her dreams. However, she feels a bit anxious because Ezekiel had been talking to her father about something she didn't know. After that, Athanasia steps out onto her balcony. Suddenly, Lucas appears. He tells her he thought she was crying, but when he looks at her face, he sees no tear tracks, though she appears unhappy. He asks if she didn't enjoy the ball. When she says that wasn't the case, Lucas guesses that perhaps her father didn't like her dancing, called her a bad dancer, or refused to dance with her again. She answers angrily that this is impossible. No one said anything of the sort, and she was perfect at the time. However, before she can say anything else, she feels a strange sensation, loses consciousness, and falls. Lucas uses his powers to catch her and help stabilize her mana. He tells her she experienced too many emotional highs and lows today, causing her mana to overflow. When she says she tried to control it herself but doesn't know why this happened, Lucas concludes that her body is simply too weak. He decides they must intensify her training starting tomorrow. He uses his magic to tuck her into bed, telling her to rest. He knows this mana consumption is just to restore a little energy because she is so small and weak. Lucas debates with himself or his inner demon, noting that he always ends up taking care of her, which is annoying and drains the mana they need to recover. However, the good side of Lucas argues that if they abandon her, she will likely die immediately. Despite the internal conflict, Lucas decides to stay with her. The next morning, Athanasia wakes up to find many invitations from noble families asking her to attend their banquets. As she looks through them, her maid asks which one she will accept first, suggesting the Marquis Erain family because she heard there is a handsome young man there. Lillian enters and scolds Hannah, the maid, for interfering, stating that if the princess is looking for a partner, she has nothing to worry about. Athanasia wonders to herself if she can even attend banquets outside the palace, as she has never left before. She decides to ask her father. Athanasia goes on a boat ride with her father and asks him about leaving the palace. He refuses immediately. Athanasia is surprised by his quick rejection. Claude recalls the ball, remembering how everyone wanted to dance with her and how Ezekiel asked for a dance. He tells her he absolutely refuses because there are too many flies outside. He then asks why she suddenly suggested coming out to the lake. She answers that the weather is beautiful, and it is nice to enjoy a boat ride with him. Claude remembers a time when his daughter was small and fell into the lake, though she doesn't recall it. Athanasia then asks to see the flowers nearby, hoping to use the relaxed atmosphere to ask about leaving the palace again. Claude is surprised she likes the flowers. Athanasia tells him the lotus flowers are beautiful. Claude uses his magic to lift the flowers out of the water for her to enjoy. However, Athanasia is terrified by their true form. They look like monsters. She screams and begs him to take them away. The accident at the lake, Athanasia and her father fall into the water. Athanasia is extremely embarrassed, thinking, I fell, and Dad saved me again. This is the most embarrassing day of my life. Not only did she fail to convince him to let her leave the palace, but he also declared that he would tighten the security around her from now on. Back at the palace, later Athanasia is seen in the kitchen helping Lillian. Lillian tells her she doesn't need to help with the chores. Athanasia explains that she loves the kitchen and tries to clear her mind by cooking. Lillian asks what she plans to do about the invitations she received earlier. Athanasia replies that her father is being overprotective and won't allow her to go anywhere after the falling incident. The gift of the rose garden Felix arrives and tells Athanasia that her father has a gift for her. He says, he knows roses are your favorite. He had a plot of land planted in this garden a few years ago. You can use it however you wish. You can even host tea parties here, as he knows you want to make friends since he won't allow you to leave the palace. Athanasia is dazzled by the garden's beauty and immediately starts thinking about which friends she wants to invite for tea. The tea party begins later. A maid asks Athanasia if she has finished writing the invitations, as they are about to be sent. Athanasia invites her friends, the first being Jeanette. Jeanette is overjoyed when she sees the invitation and hurries to the palace. Upon arrival, she admires the palace, but is surprised to find no one around. Jeanette meets Claude suddenly. The Emperor appears. He is angry to see her in the palace without permission. Jeanette is terrified, stammering, I wasn't trespassing. I came with an invitation to a tea party. Claude tells her he isn't interested in her name, but she should consider herself lucky to be Athanasia's guest. Otherwise, she wouldn't leave safely. Jeanette apologizes profusely. Gossip at the party. Finally, Athanasia appears with her friends. One of the girls remarks to Athanasia, I saw the Emperor from afar at the ball. He seemed so majestic and frightening. I never expected him to create such a beautiful garden for you. It's like you stepped out of a fairy tale. Jeanette adds, seeing you and the Emperor together looked like a scene from a painting. Admiration for Felix and Lucas. A purple-hailed girl notices Felix Robin and admires him, saying he is a very handsome young man. When she learns he is a knight, she becomes even more impressed. calling him a brave warrior who fought alongside His Majesty to save the Obelian Empire. A brown-haired girl then speaks up. I heard you have a brave, handsome knight, but also a brilliant young magician. She describes him. Yes, with hair as black as night and eyes like red rubies. He has a gloomy look, like a lone wolf. When your eyes meet his, it's thrilling. The topic turns to Ezekiel, however. The girl adds, but more important than a knight or a wizard, I prefer a gentle companion. For example, the young man from the Duke Alpheus family. Jeanette replies that Ezekiel was lucky enough to be able to dance with the princess, adding, I will make sure to pass on everyone's praise. When the girls realize she is Ezekiel's younger cousin, technically living as such, they all surround her, eager to talk about him. Athanasia and Lucas clash. Athanasia, ask Lucas, what is your problem? Are you not well? Then, snapping at him, she says angrily, are you trying to say goodbye? You have the worst personality. She then storms off, furious with Athanasia's inner thoughts. Athanasia thinks to herself, thank you for saving me, Jeanette. Socializing is so exhausting. They are all cute girls, but it remains difficult to deal with them all. Jeanette is exactly as she appeared in my dreams. She always wins everyone's trust and love. Flashback. The encounter with Jeanette Athanasia recalls a moment when Jeanette called out to her asking, can I return to the palace with you? Athanasia had replied, I'm afraid that won't work. The Emerald Palace that my father prepared for you is in the opposite direction. If there is nothing else, I must be going. Jeanette asked her to wait, saying, excuse me, could you teach me palace etiquette? I am not well versed in these matters, and I am worried about my inability to adapt. I have always looked forward to being able to live with family. Back to the tea party. Returning to the present moment, Jeanette approaches Athanasia and asks, Your Highness, are you tired? Or do you feel that the topic of those conversations was meaningless? Athanasia replies, no, not at all. It's just that this was my first tea party and I'm still not used to it yet. Jeanette smiles. That is good. I was worried we were bothering you, Your Highness. Athanasia reassures her. It's not that at all. I enjoyed spending time with you all. I just don't know how to talk to everyone yet, and I fear they might find me boring. It would be painful if everyone hated me. Jeanette assures her no one hates you, and tells her she truly wants to be her friend. She asks, can I invite you to my home as a guest next time? Athanasia replies, if the opportunity arises. Jeanette beams. Really? I look forward to it. Just then, the other friends arrive and complain playfully. Are you inviting Her Highness secretly without us, Miss Magritta? That's not fair. We want to invite her too. Athanasia finds Lucas sleeping. Athanasia goes to her room, happy that she made many friends today. She finds Lucas sleeping there and wonders why he is there. She looks at him and recalls her friend's description. They said his hair is black as night and his eyes are like red rubies. His gaze is gloomy like a lone wolf, she thinks to herself. Looking at him from this angle, I guess he is a little handsome, but his personality is the worst. Dark magic traces suddenly. Lucas wakes up and asks, what were you muttering about? Athanasia is startled. He continues, did I scare you? Or are you angry out of a sense of guilt? You're the only one who knows. He then scolds her. I left you alone for 1 day, and you attracted something filthy again. Athanasia asks, what filthy thing? Did you get rid of it? Lucas ignores the question and tells her he is going back to sleep. However, internally, Lucas recalls seeing Claude earlier with filth, traces of dark magic trailing behind him. He thinks to himself, it seems my discoveries this afternoon weren't just illusions. Even Athanasia has it on her. He wonders, where are these traces of dark magic coming from? Outro. And so ends today's episode. If you liked the video, please press like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. At the beginning of the episode, we see a person talking to himself, saying, it's time I give the princess a little surprise here. After saying that, he starts laughing. After that, the scene shifts to the events of the next day, where we see Ezekiel reading in the princess's library. The princess was wandering around the library, looking around trying to understand what the hell is going on. Suddenly, she notices Ezekiel reading there, so she says to him, Ezekiel, how did you get in here in the first place? I mean, don't you know this library belongs to me, meaning it is my private library? Ezekiel says, really? Is that so? Well, I didn't know that. What will you do now? Are you going to throw me out? Our heroine says, look, lying is wrong. I mean, you got in here by lying. He replies, oh, really? I remember you lying to me somewhere too. Isn't that right, Miss Angel? Upon hearing that, our heroine remembers that she initially told Ezekiel she was an angel, so she starts to blush a little. Then Ezekiel says, now tell me, what should we do here? But our heroine doesn't say anything. Ezekiel says, never mind that. Can I read my books here? Just as she was about to say something, Lucas comes from behind and says, no, definitely not. I mean, you can't read here. Ezekiel says, forget it. Who are you to butt in? I didn't ask you anything. Lucas replies, look, it is what it is. If you aren't allowed to read, you won't read. And we see a dispute break out between the two. Here, the princess says, stop it, you two. I am still here. How can you fight in my presence? Ezekiel apologizes and says, forgive me, I overstepped my bounds a little. Then he adds, by the way, I want to know, who is this person? So, our heroine introduces Lucas to him. Ezekiel says, oh, so this is the magician you left me for. All right, no problem. I will leave now. After saying this, he leaves the place, and before going, he puts a book in our heroine's hand and says, this book is very good, by the way. As soon as he walks out, Lucas picks up the book and says, oh, it's a romance book. Do you read this stuff too? And he starts laughing. And mocking our heroine greatly, the scene then shifts, and we finally see them in the garden, meaning they have left the library. Here, the princess says, Lucas, what you did was very wrong. You shouldn't have acted like that. Lucas replies, no, I didn't do anything wrong. That guy was talking too much, so I just silenced him. She tells him, yeah, okay, but still, he belongs to the Alpheus family, and they own mines and are very wealthy, so we can't talk to them like that. Lucas says, I don't care who he is. And basically, what makes him so special? Our heroine replies, yes, there is something that distinguishes him. I mean, he is slightly taller than you. Here, the princess is joking with Lucas and teasing him a bit. Lucas says, oh, really? And suddenly we see Lucas finally transform into his true form, his adult form. Upon seeing that, our heroine says, change back to your small form quickly. Are you an idiot? What are you doing? And how do you transform without asking me? Lucas quickly turns back into a child and says, now tell me, what do you think? And talk about me a little less. I mean, you say whatever pops into your mind. It's too much. After that, they leave the place, and the scene shifts to our heroine looking at everyone's gifts. She says, oh my god, I got so many gifts at the tea party and I don't know what to do with them. And yes, I must also think about what I will give them in return. Lucas says, oh, you don't have to give anything. It's not like it's necessary. The princess explains, no, actually, if we don't give a gift here, it won't be a good thing. It isn't polite. He asks her, oh really? She says, yes, definitely. Then he asks her, okay, who is that person? She says, he is a very good friend of mine. Lucas says, then what am I? She replies, you are a slightly better friend. I mean, you are closer to me. Then the princess says to herself, oh, what have I done? I said something wrong. Once he hears this boy will get so arrogant. Suddenly, we see Lucas get up, pat the princess on the head a little, and say, then come on, I'll take you to the market. Our heroine says, but how will we go? He says, just come. We then see that he uses teleportation magic, arriving directly inside the market. Upon seeing this, our heroine says, what? I mean, can you use teleportation magic? He says, yes, definitely. My mood is a bit good today, so I can use magic very well. Today's scenario is a little different. Then we see that with the help of his magic, he changes their clothes and they start walking around the market. Literally, whenever the princess saw something to eat, she said she wanted it. And our hero bought her everything she asked for. In the end, we see them sitting inside a restaurant, and our heroine was eating sweets non-stop. Lucas says, I swear, the amount of sweets you eat is huge. Are you going to use them to perform some magic? She says, no, I don't know anything about that. I'm just very happy because I can eat all these sweets. Suddenly, she notices Jeanette, who is talking to a shop owner. The princess says, I wonder what she is talking about. Lucas says, okay, wait, I'll see right now. And with the help of his magic, they start listening to their conversation. The princess says, this is wrong. We shouldn't eavesdrop on someone's conversation like this. He replies, weren't you the one who wanted to listen? She says, yes, but it's over now. I don't want to hear any more. We see that Jeanette was talking about her desire to buy a gift for a very dear friend of hers, asking the seller, tell me, what should I buy for him? She was trying to buy a ribbon, but the seller says, look, if you want a special gift, you won't find it here. You have to go to the black market for that. Jeanette says, really? The seller replies, yes, but take someone with you before going, because the place is very dangerous. Jeanette says, okay, I'll manage, thank you very much. As she was about to leave, the princess asks, Lucas, what is the black market? Lucas explains, the black market is a place where you find very dangerous things and you can use them too. It is not a safe place at all. The princess says, then we must go there too, because Jeanette is going alone and this could be very dangerous. He says, what? And why should we go? She says, no, listen to me and follow me. We see that they finally start following her, and the scene shifts to show us the market directly. The atmosphere there is terrible. We see two people beating one person up and strange things are happening. Then we see Lucas and the princess still following Jeanette. Jeanette enters a shop, and suddenly Lucas senses black magic and says, I'll go and come back immediately. The princess asks, but where are you going? Lucas says, just stay here and don't go anywhere. Lucas goes to track the source of the black magic, and this time the aura is very strong, so he starts chasing it quickly. On the other side, we see Jeanette choosing a gift, and suddenly this person, the strange man, comes up to Jeanette and says, forgive my rudeness, but I wanted to ask what this is and for whom you are choosing it. Jeanette tells him, actually, this is a gift I am choosing for my friend. I mean, for my younger sister. He says, oh, may I see it? He looks at the gift, places a spell on it, and says, oh yes, this is very good. Jeanette looks at that man intently and sees her father's image in him. She says, I don't know why, but he resembles my father a lot. After that, the scene shifts, and we see Jeanette leaving with the gift. Here the man says, oh, now the situation is good. I sent that idiot Lucas far away, and now it's time to see the princess and what she can do. It turns out the man created the black magic intentionally to lead Lucas away from the princess so she could be attacked. Suddenly, black magic bursts out of the gift Jeanette is holding, and a monster appears, causing everyone to start fleeing. Just as the monster is about to attack Jeanette, our heroine, the princess, arrives and saves Jeanette using her magic, saying, I don't know where that idiot Lucas went. He had to disappear right now. She was very angry with him. On the other side, we see Lucas, still tracking the black magic, saying, I don't know what is going on here. Suddenly, he realizes the situation and says, no, maybe I was misled to get away from the princess so she could be attacked. Then he says, no, I must do something. Quickly, Lucas releases Raven and says, Raven, go quickly to the princess. We see the princess finally use her magic to bind the monster for a short while, but the monster breaks free and chases them. They start running, and the princess tells Jeanette, hide in this spot. I will distract him. Just as the monster is about to kill the princess, we see Raven turn into a wolf, attack the monster, and beat it severely. Here the princess remembers the god of light, creates her weapon, attacks the monster, and finishes it off completely. Then we see Lucas arrive, saying, oh, I am glad to see you perfectly fine. The princess says, "Where the hell were you? Do you know what happened here?" He says, "Oh, stop it. I disappeared for a moment, and you got this scared? That's too much, girl. Anyway, nothing happened." Then we see Jeanette say, "Here, I brought you this gift." The princess opens the gift, but the ball, the gift, is broken because the black magic was inside it. Jeanette says, "I feel bad seeing how I broke it. I kept it with such care." The princess says, "It's okay. You brought it with love, and that is enough for me," and she keeps the gift. Jeanette asks, "By the way, what were you doing here?" The princess says, "Look, this is a secret that will stay between you and me. So keep quiet and don't tell anyone." Jeanette loves this idea very much and says, "Oh, a secret just between me and the princess. That sounds so wonderful, doesn't it?" And she looks very happy. Then we see Lucas say, "So, let's go now. How long are we going to wait here?" And we see them finally leave. Elsewhere, we see the same man, the stranger, again, saying, "I didn't expect anything less from your daughter. Anyway, this is very good." And with that, the episode ends here. Tell me in the comments how you found the episode and how the explanation was. And yes, if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's meet in a new video and a new explanation. Until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. At the start of the episode, we see Felix talking to the king. He tells him that the farmers have requested the help of mages because monsters are appearing frequently these days. It's harvest time now, so they desperately need mages to help keep the monsters away. Monsters appear every year, but it's different this year because their numbers are increasing significantly. Our friend, the king, says, "Yes, you are right. And I have a feeling the number of monsters isn't increasing on its own this time. I feel like someone is behind this." Felix agrees with him. The scene then shifts to see Athanasia very angry at Lucas, screaming, "Wait a minute, what did you just say? Did you say the gold coins you made that day were made by magic? Do you mean everything we bought and all the gold coins we gave people were actually fake?" Our friend replies, "Yeah, why are you yelling about this? This is totally normal. Why are you so surprised? A mage like me can do that easily." Athanasia feels deeply offended and says, "No, that is completely wrong. You gave them fake money for their goods. That means you didn't pay them at all, man. You just used magic. That is so wrong. Think about it yourself." Guys, our girl here is furious, but you know what? Her reaction is super cute. She acts adorably and says, "Just think for a second. If anyone finds out, they'll throw you and me in prison. And what will happen to us then? You made a huge mistake." Lucas says, "What is she rambling about?" Then adds, "Fine, calm down now. It's okay, let's go give them real coins. That's what you want, right?" Athanasia says, "Don't talk like it's so easy. Do you even have money? And if you don't, how will you pay them?" Suddenly Lucas says, Yeah, of course I have money. And wait a minute, you're a princess, aren't you? So you should have money too." She replies, "No, I don't have money. And where would I get it? Are you stupid? I only have jewelry with the royal seal on it, and if I go sell it outside, everyone will know I snuck out. So doing that is impossible too. So, we can't do anything now." Suddenly, we see Felix arrive. The maid says, "Athanasia Kema, Felix is here." Felix brought chocolate and tea for Athanasia. He comes in and tells her, "Actually, His Majesty is busy today too. He sent you these sweets and said he will join you soon." Athanasia asked, "Really? Is Dad that busy?" Felix explains, "Look, it's harvest season now, and monsters are appearing frequently lately. So your father summoned the mages, and he is in a meeting with them right now. So yes, expect it to take some time." Athanasia says, "Harvest season?" Felix clarifies, "Yes, the harvest happens every year. And at harvest time, monsters start appearing in large numbers. That's exactly why he's a bit short on time." Here, Athanasia feels that her father is working really hard. Then Felix says, "Anyway, never mind that. If you need anything, you can come to me." And that was it. Our girl got her chance, made a super cute face, and ran towards Felix. And of course, she asked him for money right there. In the next scene, we see them in the market, giving real money to everyone they took goods from before. They aren't giving banknotes, but coins. After saying goodbye to everyone, they return to the palace. Athanasia says, "Oh man, I am so tired." Lucas says, "Yeah, go distribute more money." She replies, "Whatever, I feel really good now because we did the right thing. We finally paid everyone. But all the money we had is gone." Suddenly, Lucas says, "I've had enough. You've wasted my time for no reason." She says, Yes, oh great mage, no one is as great as you. After all, you have so much work, right?" She's sarcastically complimenting him here, then adds, "Have you ever earned money yourself? Have you ever thought about how hard it is to earn money? So how can we keep someone else's money?" Lucas listens to her words intently and says, "Yeah, I used to earn money too. And you know what? There's a big difference between earning money and borrowing it. Which is what you just did." She says, "No, I didn't borrow it. What do you think? Am I going to keep this money? No, definitely not. I will earn that money and return it to Felix." Lucas says, "Oh, and how will you earn it? Anyway, don't worry, Felix won't ask you for the money, so just relax. Why the stress?" Athanasia insists, "No, absolutely not. I don't like this at all. I will earn the money and pay Felix back." Our girl leaves there angry, saying, "Stupid Lucas. I don't know who he thinks he is, such an idiot." While walking and wondering how she'll earn money, she remembers Felix telling her that her father is gathering mages to send them hunting. She goes immediately to Felix and says, "Felix, can you do me a favor? I have an idea." He says, "Yes, tell me." She says, "Look, actually, I want to go as a mage too if Dad chooses me." He asks, "But why?" She tells him, "Actually, I want to earn money by myself." He says, "Yes, that's a very good way. We can do that." "Okay, we'll talk to your father." Felix agrees and takes her straight to the king. The king says, "So, you want to go as a mage? But you know what? If you are bored, you can organize a tea party and enjoy your time. Why do you want to do this?" She says, no, definitely not. You know how strong my magic is, and if I can help my people, that's a great thing for me, and you know this will increase my popularity among the people. Here Felix supports her, saying, yes, your majesty, think about it. The people will be able to get to know the princess up close, and this would be very good for her. And anyway, the princess's magic is very strong. Our friend thinks a little and says, fine, I agree, but I have one condition. I choose the location. Athanasia says, that's fine, you can send us anywhere you want. Then he says, the second condition is that you send me a daily report from there. I mean, every single day. They accept that too. So he says, all right, I will send you both to Uig province. Upon hearing this, they are shocked. The girl says, Uig province? Isn't that where my mom came from? Felix says, yes, certainly, your mother was from there. The king says, all right, you may leave now. And oh, you won't do anything alone there. Felix will be with you always, and you must do what he says. The scene shifts to night, seeing Athanasia packing her bags very quickly. Lucas says, why are you packing so much luggage? Are you going somewhere? She says, stop it now. Who listens to you here? I am going to a very important place tomorrow. He says, fine, go wherever you want. Anyway, today is my last day teaching you. That means you are free of me after today. The girl says, yes, definitely. I won't have to listen to your rambling starting tomorrow. Lucas says, yeah, and I'm leaving here today. As soon as she hears this, Athanasia feels very sad and says, but where? Where will you go now? Lucas walks out and Athanasia runs after him saying, tell me, where are you going? Lucas says, I don't know, but there is important work I have to go finish. Athanasia asks, when will you be back? Lucas says, I don't know, but maybe I'll return as soon as the work is done. The girl feels upset and says, you idiot, don't you understand I'm worried about you? You are a good friend to me. After saying this, she runs away. Lucas remembers his past, where someone was telling him, I pity you, you don't have a friend and you never will, and it will keep on being like this. Here Lucas laughs and says, a friend. Then we see him finally leave, and Athanasia looks very sad. The scene shifts to the next day, where we see Athanasia finally setting off to Uig province with Felix. They finally arrive and are greeted by a person named Harris. He welcomes Felix, then looks at the princess and says, Princess, why did you come here? You know this isn't a place for playing. The situation here is very dangerous. This guy is really underestimating the princess. Felix tries to explain to him, look, my friend, our princess is very strong, so don't worry about her. You will understand this later. While they are talking, shouts rise up. Run away from here. The monsters have started attacking. The mages try to protect everyone, but the monsters are too strong. Just as a monster is about to kill one of the mages, Athanasia steps in, creates a magic shield, stops the monsters and says, you guys just focus on creating the barrier. I will defeat these monsters. She calls upon the wind, saying, oh wind, be my strength, and releases a very powerful magic that wipes out all the monsters at once. Harris is completely shocked and says, I didn't know the princess was this strong. Felix says, maybe you didn't know, but this magic can only be used by the princess. The scene moves to night, where everyone is holding a party to celebrate the princess's arrival and her help. We see the princess returning the money to Felix, and after her insistence, he accepts it. Then Harris says, you look exactly like your mother. You are truly amazing, and my respect for you has grown. Forgive me for my rudeness earlier. The girl asks him, did you know my mother? He says, yes, certainly. He begins telling a story from the past, when the evil Emperor Anastasius used black magic and caused a famine in Uig province. Back then, your father came and brought food and helped us, while your mother was treating everyone. They weren't married then. On the night of a dance ball, your father met your mother and was captivated by her, and so things went on. Your father killed the monsters and built the Obelian Empire after killing Anastasius, the black magic user. Athanasia feels happy that her parents met in this place. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see the evil man holding a ribbon in his hand, saying, Athanasia, I hope you like my second gift. Laugh as much as you want today. The scene shifts to see Lucas standing in a strange place, holding something in his hand and saying, black magic is emitting from here. Even though you have died, the power of your black magic is truly immense. And with that, this episode ends here. Tell me in the comments how you found the episode and the explanation. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in a new video and a new recap. Until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. The episode begins with Athena, waking up to a very loud noise. She asks her maid what is happening today, and the maid tells her that today is the harvest festival, and asks, don't you wish to go out? After that, we see a scene outside where everyone is working hard and decorating the place. Athi feels happy seeing all these preparations. Felix appears and tells her, Your Highness, you are our guest today, pointing toward her father. Athi runs and hugs her father, Claude, tightly. Claude reminds her that she promised him before coming that she would send him a report, a letter, every day. Athi gets nervous, thinking to herself that she forgot to write the letter because of everything that was happening, and she starts apologizing profusely. Then she asks him, what are you doing here? Felix explains that today is the festival and the king has very important work to do, which is performing a ritual at the magical water source. Claude indirectly asks Athi if she wants to accompany him. The king and the princess are introduced to everyone. This time the ritual will be performed by Claude and Athi together. They are given a stalk of wheat/rice to complete the ritual, which Athi takes. The people around them were very happy, praising the presence of the king and the queen, referring to the princess, together, talking about how wonderful the month of August will be. They get into the carriage and leave. At a certain point, the guard informs them that they cannot go any further. and only the king and Athi will continue down the path. The scene shifts to Lucas, who thinks to himself that he didn't expect to return to his tower while tracking black magic. He goes to a mirror to check something and realizes that someone is under the control of a black magic book. He wonders what these people are doing and what Athi is doing there. The scene returns to Athi and Claude near the lake. Ironically, they were talking about Lucas. Claude tells Athi about a great magician in the tower who helped them and saved people many times. Athi imagines that Lucas is this great magician, but thinks that his behavior doesn't suggest that at all, even though in reality, he is that magician. Athi is dazzled by the scene in front of her when they arrive at the magical water source. It is the birthplace of spirits and the source of life, and it was a very beautiful place. Athi says, "This is a sacred place, but I don't know why I feel a pain in my chest." Magic orbs were floating around them, which made Athi happy, but Claude told her not to catch them, explaining that this tree reads human feelings and only responds to pure emotions. Claude begins the ritual, introducing himself as the King of Obelia, and asks Athi to do the same. Athi says, "O sacred spring, I am Athi. I present a gift to you on behalf of us all," and she offers the piece of grain which the tree accepts. Athi is delighted and turns to tell her father, but suddenly dense black magic appears around Athi. Claude and Lucas, who is watching, are terrified. At this moment, Athi was walking on the water, but when the black magic took control, she began to sink and couldn't come up or breathe as the water weeds started pulling her down. Claude jumps in to save her, using his magic to allow her to breathe underwater. Claude succeeds in saving Athi, but suddenly the tree branches grow wildly and grab Claude, breaking the magic circle. Claude throws Athi upwards out of the water, while he remains trapped below. Athi wakes up to find Lucas in front of her. She asks him what he is doing there, and he tells her he saw her in trouble. Lucas discovered that her hair ribbon contained black magic and destroyed it, noting that someone did this on purpose. Athi asks about her father, and Lucas shows her that Claude is trapped and in a deep sleep, coma. Athi is shocked and tries to wake him, but to no avail. Lucas tells her he tried as well, but his magic doesn't work here. Athi wonders why her father sacrificed himself to save her. She remembers Phoenix's words from the past about how Claude loves her very much, but doesn't show it, and that her mother Diana loved her too. Athi decides to enter the magical barrier. Lucas warns her that it is very dangerous because the spring's purification process has begun, and if she doesn't get him out before the process ends, they will both be erased. Athi insists on going in, saying, "I don't care, I want to save my dad, I have no one else in my life." Lucas uses his magic to help her enter Claude's mind, consciousness, warning her to return before the purification ends. Athi enters and sees Claude's memories. The first thing she sees is her mother, Diana. Claude's memories are filled with Diana. We see the dance scene where Claude fell in love with Diana for the first time. Athi gets swept away in the flow of memories and sees that Claude never forgot Diana, even after her death. Then, we see a painful memory where Claude asks Diana not to give birth to the child, Athi, because it will kill her, telling her that she is more important to him than the child. But Diana refuses and chooses to give birth to Athi. We see the scene of Athi's birth and Diana's death, and how Claude was completely broken and began to blame Diana for leaving him alone. Darkness appears around Claude in the memories. Lucas warns Athi to hurry. Athi reaches a door and opens it to find her father sitting there, looking desperate. He asks why she keeps coming into his dreams, and we see black magic in his hand. He says the world without Diana is a nightmare, and he wants to forget everything using black magic. Athi tries to stop him, so he doesn't forget her mother. Everything around them starts to shatter. Claude says life without her is boring, and he doesn't know what to do, and that he should never have listened to his heart. Claude seals himself inside a barrier. Athi screams, "Dad, this isn't you! Listen to me! You must wake up, no matter what!" And here the episode ends. Tell me in the comments what you thought of today's episode. Honestly, the anime is amazing, and even if it had 50 episodes instead of 16, I would have happily watched them all. There is one final episode left, which I will explain next week, and with that, the series will conclude. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Goodbye.